feature of the day is the Group 2 Missile Stakes up at Royal Randwick today. I Am Me. This
to 240 now, but hardly budged in 4 days of betting. Semillion open 650. It's now into $4.60. Clear second to pick. She's an A-lister.
$2.50 about Schwartz. On the outside. Yes, and they're racing. The grey much better anticipated the start well with Semillon. Schwartz is just drifting back as the face goes forward. Then came Steel City, and She's an A-lister on the rails. Further back to Banju, Lock Eagle. Arctic Glamour sits back last of all. The grey much better leads by 2 on the face. Semillon the third. Schwartz fourth the outside, no cover. Then Steel City from She's an A-lister. Banju pulling. Lock Eagle 3 wide towards the rear. Arctic Glamour sees them all. Much better at the 650. 2 in front of the face. 2 off Semillon. And Schwartz only 4 lengths off the lead in 4. Then She's an A-lister. Steel City. Banju under pressure from Lock Eagle, and Arctic Glamour's got it all to do. Much better. Spins in front by 2 on the face. Then Semillon travelling up well. Now Schwartz has popped the question and starting to put in good strides. Much better at the 225, led by 2. Schwartz is closing in hard the outside, and She's an A-lister making ground. Schwartz races up. She's an A-lister the inside. Schwartz a half in front to She's an A-lister. Arctic Glamour late. Schwartz begging for the post. Found it. Schwartz just won the Missile Stakes from the fast finishing Arctic Glamour, and She's an A-lister third. Then much better Semillon, Steel City, Lock Eagle running on. So did Banju, and the face was last to finish.
Wow, okay, so Schwartz puts his hand up as a real spring contender. He's an entire, remember, well-bred, raced by the Victorian Alliance, and they are looking for stallions, and that has just further enhanced his prospects of that. And note that only a couple of weeks ago, he was 101 in the Everest, 34 before the jump of this. I reckon he'll be looking for a slot in that big $20 million event in just a few weeks' time. That was a good performance, and what a return from Arctic Glamour as well.
And She's an A-lister.
Ready here. Small field for the Vane Stakes for the 3-year-olds. We had Tarpaulin Scratched. He's running at Rosehill today. Their backing outside of the favourite is Band of Brothers to sit outside the lead. Sharp money for Band.
Star of the future stand-up, the Vane Stakes.
So back and away, Winchester away pretty quickly with Let's Face the Music and also Interest Point. Behind those horses, Band of Brothers is pushing up. Next in the field is Blue Stratum. Let's Face the Music outsped in the first 300 metres, and a clear last at this stage is Wonder Boy. Onto the course proper at the 800. Winchester off the rails, led Interest Point. They're 2.5 Band of Brothers. 2 further back in the field, Blue Stratum, Let's Face the Music, and Wonder Boy sticks to the inside. 600 metres to go. It's Interest Point poking up on the inside with Winchester. They match strides at the 500 metres by a length and a half, Band of Brothers. Then Blue Stratum, Wonder Boy sticking towards the inside, and then Let's Face the Music around the turn. It's Interest Point at the 300 metres with Band of Brothers looming up dangerously. Then Blue Stratum behind those horses. Winchester boxes on from Let's Face the Music. Band of Brothers below the 200. Took the front by 2 lengths to Blue Stratum. Wonder Boy late, but it's Band of Brothers clear. Band of Brothers a bit wayward, but Band of Brothers has won it. A half length Let's Face the Music, and Wonder Boy, who was motoring late. Blue Stratum next, then Winchester, and at the tail of the field, last of the 6 Interest Point.
Fourth start, second win, but importantly, a Group 3 victory for Band of Brothers for Damien Lane and Maddie Ellerton.
These boys, and so going forward, I think he's Group 3 Quizette Stakes over the 1100 metres, and boy, I found this a tough race to get through.
Yanagi, that is your favourite here, $2.55 into $2.45. Currently about 60% of the whole. Drifting is doing just that, $3.40, and continuing to blow out there. GG's Mistruths.
A young 2-year-old now in the new season as a 3-year-old. Who's going to stand up? Here we go.
They're ready, and away they go, and Koreanagi was one of the best out with Madrina, and also Drifting on the rails. Drifting will just lead Madrina, then Koreanagi, and out wider on the track is GG's Mistruth, and then came getting up along the inside just like Gabby. She's pretty keen too. A gap in the field, a length and a quarter away then is Berezka, and then towards the end Kirribilli and Bellatrix Star. So the front runner drifting and steady, 3/4 of a length in front. From Madrina second, a length and a half, Just Like Gabby and Koreanagi. They're 2 lengths in front of Berezka and Gigi's Mistruth, a length and a half Kirribilli and Bellatrix Star. Drifting Every Hope in front with Madrina the outside, peppering away as they run the corner, 350 metres to go. It's drifting hands and heels from Madrina. Koreanagi pulled to the outside, Just Like Gabby behind those horses. Then Gigi's Mistruth and Bellatrix Star drifting ping for home at the 200 metres. Gigi's Mistruth is eating into the lead, but it's drifting 100 metres to go. Gigi's Mistruth is coming hard, but not hard enough. Drifting one at a neck. Gigi's Mistruth, Kirribilli, photo for 4, Koreanagi or Bellatrix Star. A gap in the field then 2 behind those horses. Berezka in company with Just Like Gabby, who was just too fierce, and at the tail Madrina.
Peter Snowden, well done. That would put a smile on his face. A little high octane in Sydney, and Blake Shin, did he know what was underneath for him? So the Snowden family and the ownership, they're all smiling. Blake asked her for the ultimate effort. She was entitled, considering the fractions they were going. She was entitled to get tired, but she was up for the fight and a comfortable win in the end. Oh, the Tassie filly's got ability. Gigi's Mistruth, and Kirribilli back into the mounting yard for our feature. Here's number 6.
Pinstriped for EJ and Ben Allen for a long time. He's got fitness on his side.
No doubt.
Been supported, but it has been Gentleman Roy in the last 10 minutes that the punters have started to come for. So 280, 285 now, a little bit of a drift for Pericles with that cash coming for Gentleman Roy into $4.80 from $5.50 moments ago. Looking for 3 on the bounce. In form, Munamek $7 and rock solid, looking for 3 on the bounce as well. Jimmy the Bear there has had some support as always. 11's into 9.50.
And then set up their spring campaigns, you know, the Mighty Mahogany and Pompey Ruler, who was so close to winning a Cox Plate, Apache Cat light feature.
Ready, and they're racing at the 1400 metres. Agon the last out. Buffalo River jumped well with also Gentleman Roy, and Pericles is right up there in the early strides. Jimmy the Bear got to about 4th. They were followed by Pounding, Pinstriped, and next in the field the outside Munamek. Honey Girl as well back with Banker's Choice and Agon to the side of the course, and there goes Buffalo River to the lead at the 1000 metres and sped 2.5 Gentleman Roy. About a length and a half Pericles and Jimmy the Bear, and Munamex 3 wide trying to get across. Pounding next the inside from Pinstripe, 2 lengths Honey Girl, Banker's Choice Agon. 700 metres to go, and the leader is Buffalo River. Shows no mercy, about 5 lengths in front of Gentleman Roy, 2 lengths to Pericles, a similar gap to Jimmy the Bear, and they were followed by Pinstripe, Munamek around it. Next the inside is Pounding, followed then in the field by Banker's Choice, Honey Girl and Agon. Buffalo River comes up towards the corner at the 450, 3 lengths Gentleman Roy. Then came Pericles, Jimmy the Bear. Pinstriped is coming into it, had a bit of a brush with Jimmy there, and they were followed by Agon, who runs on. They've got to Buffalo River. Gentleman Roy at the 200 metres struck the front from Pericles. Pinstripe, Jimmy the Bear's trying to get through at the 100. Gentleman Roy just in front of Pericles and Pinstripe. Gentleman Roy digs in for the fight and wins. Gentleman Roy from Pinstripe, photo 3rd. Pericles or Agon, then Jimmy the Bear in limited room in the straight. Behind them, Munamek and Pounding, Buffalo River, Banker's Choice and Honey Girl.
What a remarkable record they've got in the race. The Hayes boys win 4 on the day and win 3 PB Lawrence Stakes in a row.
He is so consistent, and his pattern is just so likeable. He can't find trouble. The way he races, he's up there on speed and he's able to sustain it, which is just such
racing. Talking about the Dali Princess series, there's some terrific fillies going around. We know that the Silver Shadow kicks off today. Then we see the Furious. They step up to the 1200.
First horse we laid, they put up 330. That was clearly the wrong price. They got knocked off their stand, and she was quickly into $2.70. This morning after scratching, she opened 230 and is now into $2.15. So Manal continues to firm. Amina also firmed up as well when markets first went up, $8.50, got into as short as $4.60 now. Then we've got, you can get 3 times that now. It's a $19 chance. Sakima's there at 23.
To go in the Silver Shadow Stakes, Manala hot favourite. Ready now. And they're off and racing, and Shadow Miraval left the gates really well with Silmarillion charging up into second. Manal away well in third from Miss Bustlinger. Amina deeper out, drifting back a little bit from Hallett Photographics, then Sakima. Further back to Bohemia. Zaitung gets back to third last from Trafalgar Square, and Erno's Cube was taken back to last. Shadow Miraval's charging along at a strong tempo here. Inside the 800 metres by 2.5 on Silmarillion, then Hallett, Miss Bustlinger fourth the outside. Then came Manal position on the outside of Photographics. Further back then to Sakima, and further back to Amina, who's right on the coattails of the favourite. Zaitung's on a wide path, then Trafalgar Square, Bohemia. Erno's Cube under restraint last of all. Into the straight now, and Shadow Miraval at the 400 leads by a length and a half now on Silmarillion. 2 lengths to Hallett. Manal gets going on the outside of Miss Bustlinger, and further back to Photographics. At the 300, and Silmarillion raced up to hit the lead. Manal is giving serious chase. Silmarillion a length and a half. Manal. Here's Zaitung and Erno's Cube with big runs, and Amina through the centre. It's Silmarillion just in front. Amina lunges and got up to win it. I think Amina on the last bound knocked off Silmarillion and Manal. Erno's Cube, Zaitung were next, followed by Bohemia late on the scene. Behind them came Hallett from Shadow Miraval, Trafalgar Square, Miss Bustlinger and Photographics.
Oh, what do we got here? Amina. Geez, if she's won this as a Group 2 winner first up, that is a big effort and well placed as well for Godolphin. And, oh, goodness.
Oh, she's got
and
a
Amina
good
gets
call.
it. Amina, Silmarillion and Manal.
Yeah, very, very tight go there. As you would expect, the Frank and Christine Cook colours on the inside. We've been speaking about this horse, Bahania. She is a horse that you want to be with when she steps out over the 1400 and beyond. Tommy Berry rode her patiently up the fence. That's a flashing light of a run.
I completely agree with you there, but
Here, a lot of expectation around Jolie Star, of course, resuming. She's been trolling the house down now. She was as much as $3.30 when markets were first posted earlier on in the week. She opened about $2.50 this morning. Now back out to $2.60, bottomed out at about $2.30. So just on the drift a little bit in the last sort of 15 minutes or so. Our Kobe Sun opened $3.80, is now as short as $3.40. Got in end caps at 12. Democracy Manifest, he's always a popular horse and an easy enough horse to lay. He's $19. Bandy's Boy at $19 as well.
the show counting with Darren Flindell.
Number 7, the gates are back. The rough and much better. The grey was one of the first into stride. Griff handled the start well. And our Kobe Sun are right there between them. Fearson goes to 4, followed by the well-backed Airman. Then Encap, Jolly Star, midfield. Old Flame, Wider out going back. Then Bandy's Boys, Southport Tycoon, Democracy Manifest, and Ducasse is last. Much better holds the front of the 800 metres narrowly from our Kobe Sun, who's happy to eyeball it. Fearson off the course in third. Airman gets a great run fourth the inside. 2 lengths then to Griff. Then Encap, Jolly Star with plenty of galloping room. A length and a half to Bandy's Boy in a 3 wide spot from Southport Tycoon. Democracy Manifest back on the rails. Ducasse and Old Flame are the last 2. Much better. Now to the rails, turns in front by a length and a half at our Kobe Sun. Then came Fearson, 2 further back to Jolly Star. And McDonald's just getting to her. Our Kobe Sun races to a narrow lead, but here she comes. Jolly Star cuts loose at the 175, and Jolly Star opens up the shoulders, shot away. Our Kobe Sun grimly hanging on to second from Fearson. Ease down Jolly Star. She is a star in the making. Jolly Star bolts in. Our Kobe Sun second just in front of Fearson. Democracy Manifest rattling at the end. Then Southport Tycoon and Encap. Further back to Griff. Much better Airman. Then Ducasse, Bandy's Boy and Old Flame.
Wow, that was as easy as you like it. He just got the perfect trail in on the turn.
Is she ready for a slot?
I didn't expect that straight off the bat, but she's very good, isn't she? She's well named, she's a star. She was dominant in the Arrowfield in the autumn. The owners, Brendan and Joe, have looked interest, but most importantly, see how she comes through it, and wherever she goes, she's going to be a star.
Do you think she's just a brilliant...
Yeah, pretty good, wasn't she? Expected her to win, but not with that much ease. But she executed really well, and she's been working like a really, really good horse at home, and it's been hard work containing her, but they've done a good job. It's been really...
One of the season. Okay, Via Sistina, she is back in business. Big Group 1 winner in the autumn. Can she replicate it in the Winx?
Stakes. First run in 1923 as the Warwick Stakes, the race was renamed the Winx Stakes in 2018 in honour of the mighty mare who fittingly made it a hat-trick of wins the same year the race received Group 1 status.
There's 26 in a row for the...
Is full of talent. 8 Group 1 winners.
Absolutely, and last year's winner of the Winx Stakes was Fangle. She heads up the market. Of course, we see
market for this $1 million event, Manto.
Yeah, what a race, Em. Fangirl favourite, but happy to sort of let you on late in betting. Now, $2.60 for Fangirl. She was as much as $2 or as short as $2 earlier on in the week. Now, we've seen a good firm for Zoo Gotcha. $11, now into $6.50, and good late support for Zoo Gotcha to beat Fangirl. Riff Rocket, we laid him early when markets first went on. Now, $10. Via Sistina, market says no. She opened second favourite, $6. Market's thinking she's going to need this and a little further. She's out to $10 now. Samana at 12, a Tissue 26, Zardozi.
The $2.60 favourite, and they're often racing now, and Tropical Squall bounded out of the gates a clear leader. From Samana, who scoots straight into second position, Just Fine Handy with Detonated Jack. They're followed after 2 lengths to Zayrek, then Zardozi, Fangirl. Via Sistina behind from Riff Rocket, then came a Tissue, and dropping back to last is Buckaroo. Tropical Squall in front, and Zoo Gotcha's probing right up behind. Tropical Squall holds the front by a length and a half on Zoo Gotcha. 2 lengths to Samana, a touch keen on the outside of Detonated Jack. A length further back to Just Fine, they're at the 800. 2 lengths then to Zayrek. Similar margin to Zardozi, racing on the inside of Fangirl. They're followed then by Via Sistina, is back on the inside, running rail, covered up by Riff Rocket, although Riff just lost a length or so there, and Fangirl's getting the head up in the air as well at the 600 metres, where Tropical Squall shows the way by a length on Zoo Gotcha in second, then Detonator Jack, Samana, Just Fine, Zardozi. Boy, Fangirl gives away a big start. Via Sistina pinching ground towards the inside. Tropical Squall at the 300 from Zoo Gotcha, who travels up. Zoo Gotcha takes the lead now from Samana. They beat off Tropical Squall. 4 lengths away to Fangirl. Zoo Gotcha in front, 150 out. Zoo Gotcha from Samana. Fangirl late. Via Sistina's charging. Zoo Gotcha in front from Via Sistina. Oh, photo finish. Via Sistina rattling home. Joins Zoo Gotcha on the wire. Could go either way. Then Detonator Jack, Fangirl. Zardozi, Simona next from Riff Rocket at Tissue. Further back, Buckaroo, Just Fine, and Tropical Squall was last in.
Oh, we got a contest, didn't we? Via Sistina, 1,400 metres, wasn't sure it was her go, and the market said no, but we think it could be Via Sistina, but we do have a photo with Zoo Gotcha, who was so brave there as well for Tommy Berry, and Berry in the middle of the track in those fluoro green colours, and they go toe-to-toe, head-to-head, and the photo, we'll give it to Via Sistina. Wow, she has returned in top order.
Yeah, she's just gone out the way that she has come back in now, a Group 1 winner. We were watching her during the run, and I mentioned, geez, she's got a big action, and all Karen needed to do was find a bit of clear air so she could wind into herself, and he just rode, giving you every opportunity. But that toe-to-toe performance from Zoo Gotcha, Via Sistina, Fangirl flashing late, all three are in for a great preparation. Chris Waller has now won this race 8 times. He's now trifected this race. He's won it with his very favourite
to go. And then Fangirl, I mean, it's just pattern, isn't it? She is just a flashing light on the outside. But getting too far back, it's hard to make up that amount of ground when her stablemates are doing just that, but with metres in front of her.
Yeah, she ran super out of her skin. We know that she'd be better with a bit of speed in a race, but she's still returned in really nice order. Via Sistina, the interesting fact about her is that we've seen her now in Australia 3 times. Obviously, she won first up, Group 1 first up. Then she was beaten by Pride of Jenny in very unusual circumstances, and now she's returned a Group 1 winner. What are we actually dealing with?
We're dealing with a really good horse. She was bought for huge money, millions and millions of dollars. Let's hear from...
She's now had 7 starts in Group 1 company for 3 wins, 3 seconds and a third. 162 Group 1 wins now for Chris Waller and 84 for Karen McAvoy. Over to you, sir. What do you have to say about her?
Obviously a very smart horse, and yeah, privileged to be training horses like her. She's a pickup addition to the stable. The others are stalwarts. She's beaten them today, but it'll be a match race, I'm sure, in a few weeks' time.
You said earlier in the week, in fact,
away, the gates spring open and they're away. Acromantula, Sons Duke, they missed the start. Mornington Glory came out quickly but eases back to fourth, and it's Golden Boom who goes through the field to lead Scuderia, and Bold Bastille slides in to third, a length and a half to Shershov, and then comes Mornington Glory trying to slot in. Acromantula picks up back on the fence. Ashford Street second last, Sons Dutus last. Through the gap they go, 600 to travel, and it's the Queenslander Golden Boom by a half length. Bold Bastille gets to second, Scuderia is third, Shershov, then comes Mornington Glory starting to get into the race now. Acromantula buried back on the running rail, and then Ashford Street circling. Sons Dutus still back last as they come around the corner. Golden Boom by over a length. Bold Bastille slowly wearing it down, and here's Mornington Glory starting to let rip down the middle. It's Golden Boom with Mornington Glory. Sons Dutus late on the scene. Golden Boom. Mornington Glory's now coming and lifting. He'll get it. Mornington Glory won it by a head on Golden Boom. Sons Dutus third. Acromantula made ground along the fence. They were followed by Scuderia. Bold Bastille didn't finish off, and Shershov and Ashford Street.
A first Valley Stakes win for Gavin Bedgood. Ethan Brown, 2 years to the day, he won the feature for the 3-year-olds, the Mackenzie. He takes out the Carline, and once again, the Valley 1,000-metre contest from a fortnight ago proves to be the pathway to glory in the Carline.
Inside out, and he's been trialling up really well, and he would love to hit the ground running. And on radio, he was pretty confident this morning, wasn't he?
He was bullish.
As a mouth-watering battle here between Stormboy and Gatsby's, and we have equal favourites now. So Stormboy, the punter's really rallying towards him, and Gatsby's we're seeing on the drift. As much as $2.40 about Stormboy, but now $2.
Golden Slipper, he tapered off at the end of last preparation in the sire's produce, and he ticks a lot of boxes as far as looks are concerned. I'm going the way of
The post-time favourite drawn the fence. The gates are back and they're off and racing. He's jumped out fairly. Mayfair revved up. Gatsby's going forward, and now Stormboy is being pushed up on the inside, and Hieronymus wants the front on Stormboy. Mayfair's out deep on the outside of Gatsby's in the early part. Extreme Diva, Perspiration sit back, followed then by King of Brasoa, and 3 lengths away to Tropicus. So Stormboy holds the front. It's Stormboy a half in front to Mayfair, and Gatsby stalking the 2 leaders in third. They're followed then by Perspiration back on the inside of Extreme Diva. 2 after King of Brasoa, and Tropicus is last of all. So Stormboy's trying to make all. Stormboy turns the corner in front, getting the better of Mayfair. Now Gatsby's is being called upon, 3 lengths away. 300 to go. Stormboy with a strong lead. Stormboy 2 in front. Gatsby's has got the job to pick him up. Mayfair's had enough, but Stormboy's full of running inside the 150. And Stormboy, what a great return to racing. Really gets his career back on track today. A big win for Stormboy in the San Domenico. Mayfair kicked on for second. Photo third. Gatsby's and Tropicus. Then King of Brasoa. And a gap back to Extreme Diva. And Perspiration, who was really buzzed up today, finished last.
Well, hasn't he returned in brilliant order? Great ride by Hip, because he missed the kick and he had to muster to try and find that position on the fence. It was fascinating. He was fit. He's big. He's a Hulk. He's imposing. And the other thing that happened that Katie picked up on, Lizzie, is that Adam dropped his whip halfway through the straight. So that was pretty much hands and heels in the end.
Oh, how would you be feeling, Katie, if you were Adam Hieronymus and you're thinking, okay, all I need to do is encourage this big...
Thought he would have been thinking that Gay Waterhouse is going to kill me if this horse gets beat. But he didn't need it, and I'm pretty sure he'll be laughing. Look, what a beautiful colt he is. He's just an absolute stunning machine. Coolmore spent a lot of money buying into him, and they're going to reap the rewards. He is in for a big preparation.
Yep, and Mayfair was brave on. He probably settled a little closer than he has in the past, and maybe that didn't allow him to show that. There's the whip, it's gone, and he goes, well, I've just got to get both hands on those reins and ride for all luck now.
Yeah, absolutely. And back on to Gatsby's, yeah, I think he was a little bit disappointing, to be honest. You know, he's off that other record, but maybe Tropicus, he's the one you want to be on going forward. He's
That's
learning
the flashing light, because he was way back in the field, and on a day where we haven't seen a huge amount of ground made up, watch this. Watch him flash home late, and this is only over the 1100.
Only on his second start, too.
Yep, he's the horse I want to follow, but Stormboy, he is back.
On Team Stormboy, from what he showed us early as a 2-year-old, and then there's others that were against the horse, given he failed in his grand finals at 2. He's made a statement on his return at 3 with a dominant performance yesterday with Adam Hieronymus in the saddle. It was a Quinella for the Waterhouse Bot camp with Mayfair back in second. Tropicus, who was scratched from the McNeil, running third for Anthony and Sam Friedman. But what a return from the son of Justify Ben. And they've outlined Golden Rose, and then that's perhaps the consideration to come south for races like the Guineas and potentially the Cox Plate.
Yeah, it's great for racing to see Stormboy back, because he had such a boom and the jury was out. That high rating Magic Millions win. It was a new course. Was the rating right? You know, I think what we've learned from him is he needs to be on top of the ground. He's a better horse on top of the ground. And gee, Tropicus was good there. That was a day. It was a big advantage to be up and on speed and closer to the lead. And you didn't want to come back and wide. So I thought Tropicus was really good. Gatsby's was a disappointment. Out of that race.
Very disappointing.
Sell. Even Mahogany down there and winning a derby.
Yeah, there's some...
$6 out to 7. Shangri-La Express is 10. 11 was the best price I saw. Snack Bars at 11. Enriched 13. Got to 11. Back to 12. Then we've got Media Wood 1. 210 now about Autumn Glow. So just risking it ever so.
How good is Autumn Glow? She's a filly that's very well bred, and she displays.
Gates are back now, they're off and racing. Totoko is last out, and Shangri-La Express jumped well with Wanneroo, and Axios being sent forward on the outside, looking for the lead. It's a good go, and Axios has cleared the pack to lead by 2 on Shangri-La Express, and Wanneroo moving up the outside. Media World goes to 4th. Then came Enriched. Autumn Glow in the second half of the field there. Snack Bar got tight for room from Iron Hawk, and Totoko dropped back to a long last. Axios shows the way at the 800, a half in front to Wanneroo. Shangri-La Express leaders back third, then Media World from Enriched, and Autumn Glow next on the outside, just been nudged along a little bit. Then came Snack Bar, followed by Iron Hawk, and 2 off to Totoko. At the 600 metres, Axios a narrow leader from Wanneroo, eyeballing at the outside. Then came Media World from Shangri-La Express, and Autumn Glow heads the rest as they turn into the straight. Axios just in front from Wanneroo. Media World. Autumn Glow is now coming with a good run on the outside, and Snack Bar from further back. Wanneroo takes the lead of the 200 from Autumn Glow. Media World, then Snack Bar Enriched behind them. Now Autumn Glow going through her gears. Autumn Glow at the 100, charging away now the up-and-coming stakes, and she remains unbeaten. Autumn Glow extended away to beat Wanneroo. Photo finish for third. Snack Bar and Iron Hawk rattling home. Then Media World, a gap to Enriched. Shangri-La Express dropped out with Totoko, and Axios, who worked hard to lead, weakened out to finish last.
The Massaras and the Arrowfield team will be licking their lips with her, because she's unbeaten. She's won a Group 3 up against the boys at her second start, and she has defied a pretty evident track bias today, Lizzie, and she's done it eased down to the line. I think this girl's pretty special.
Very special. And let me tell you, she's still got so much more to come as far as her physicalities is concerned. She's got to come through in her coat. She's got to do
that, but she got it all together and was able to still do that.
Yeah, she's just got this amazing big action, just like the Autumn Sun, the way that she covers the ground. And it's like she needs to go a bit quicker. So I think the better races, the better class of races that she runs in, probably the best we're going to see of her. So, yeah, what an exciting...
She's good. Autumn Glow, she's good. Autumn Glow, Kieran McAvoy in the saddle, couple of wins apiece for he and Chris Waller in tandem yesterday. The sky just seems the limit. Every time she is gracing a racetrack at the moment, it's just jaw-dropping.
Well, nothing had run on till this point. And then she goes and wins against the boys at her second career start, stakes level. I'd love to see them have a crack at a Golden Rose. It probably depends what colts they've got that they don't want to try and knock off, because, look, it's going to get tougher against Broadside and Stormboy, but she might be up to it. And the flight looks at her.
Yeah, the easy pickings on the way through, certainly. So that
recommendation at pretty short odds. Did touch $1.70 a little earlier this morning, and the punters just haven't been too keen in the short field to take, in the small field to take that short price. So is the best back runner in this race, but not a huge amount of liquidity going through it at the moment. Kalos, second elect, they're still very, very short at $2.
It's flashing in the Valet Black Caviar. Gates open, they're away. Recommendation got a good start. Kalos was a little bit slow. It trails the field. Acromantula is going through the middle, and Marble 9 starting to boot up along the fence. But Acromantula, the west of 600 metres. Acromantula kept together. Now Recommendation is sliding closer, only about a half length off the lead. Marble 9 is cloistered away, and then comes Kalos, who follows Recommendation everywhere it goes. Natuna will have to swing deep, 3 and 4 wide as they bunch. Coming up to the corner, 400 to go. Here's Recommendation now letting loose after Acromantula. And to the centre, Kalos also making its bid. Marble 9 now 2 lengths away, then Natuno. Recommendation took over below the 200. Kalos is trying to reel in Recommendation. Recommendation still holding at 3/4. Kalos will need to dig in. Recommendation still going well. And Recommendation 3 straight Caulfield Group 3s. Won it by 3/4 on Kalos. And they beat Natuno just third from Marble 9 and Acromantula.
Race-to-race double there for Blake Shin. The scratchings of a couple of key contenders really played into his favour. And Kalos first.
Better known as the Heath 1100. This was the cornerstone of Asfura's spring prep last year before her globe-trotting exploits of late. And, well, yesterday, Ollie, we saw a Blake Shin masterclass against 4 opponents.
Yeah, a small field, like you said, Nige. Drew the outside. It was a very composed ride. Look, he was probably going to struggle to find cover on a horse like that. That's a natural front runner, but you could see him look over early to keep an eye on Kalos, where it was in the run. But
forward there, so you know, Kalos is a horse with a big turn of foot, getting the cover on his back out of the wind, and had every opportunity to go past him. But Recommendation was too good, so nice win.
50. If you move further down the page, Band of Brothers, not too many friends at all. $12 out to 18. 51 into 20 for Yaldi has been the best supported of those at the long odds at the moment. But
here we go. It's the running of the McNeil.
And they're away. Growing Empire jump fair from out wide. Astapor clearly the best out. It's looking for the lead. Growing Empire's going to work across though. There's also speed just off those runners from Stay Focused and Yeldy. And then comes Band of Brothers, who rails through now to 4th. Let's Face the Music, Wonder Boy and Feroce, they both go back. They head down towards the corner, 800 metres to go. And away from the fence, Astapor, Stay Focused, and Band of Brothers a half length away, holds the fence. And they're going quickly towards the lead, so Growing Empire takes a trail. And then Let's Face the Music is booting up now 4th, back on the inside. Yeldy's in between. Feroce's pulling second last, nowhere to go. Wonder Boy with it as they start to corner, close to 4:20 to go. Band of Brothers went through along the inside of Stay Focused. Astapor wobbled. And then Let's Face the Music, Yeldy. Next is Growing Empire, comes to the centre, tries to wind up now, still 2 lengths off them, coming quickly. Growing Empire's unleashed, and at the 200 he got to them in a flash. Growing Empire now 2 lengths. Zara cool as a cucumber, now starts to ride him to the line, and this was effortless. Easing up for the photo in a canter. Couldn't have done it any better. Growing Empire beat Wonder Boy. 3rd, Stay Focused, and then Band of Brothers, Let's Face the Music, in behind Astapor. Feroce is clocked in towards the back, and one of the last in was Yeldy.
Well, spring is well and truly here. We've seen 2 colts state to state win effortlessly. This time Growing Empire from the Kira Mars stable, Mark Zara, with a cool as a cucumber. You heard from Adamo talking about the way that he focused in on this horse and how he was able to just find the line so beautifully, Katie, but he's come back bigger and better.
Yeah, he has, and he just went whoosh. That was soft.
Yeah, he's a very, very exciting colt. And great for Yulong. Hopefully, you know, they are a growing empire as well. So, you know, his goal is to Coolmore this prep, and
a big opinion of what this guy could be capable of through the spring.
Yeah, this was a great victory. So there's just so many factors that make this a good win. So He's a horse that, was very raw, did a lot wrong. I think he took on a fence the first time he went to the races. He's improved every time he's gone to the track. Then yesterday he showed the ability to take a sit in behind the speed, and it's this turn of foot once he's produced by Mark Zahra and gets to the outside. And he's been able to do it this time without the blinkers. He had the blinkers applied and really improved last preparation, but I think it's a sign of his growing maturity. I just love the way he ambles up to the horses in front of him. OK, maybe they were impacted by the wind, but this turn of foot was very, very good. Keep an eye on Wonder Boy behind him. Couldn't go with Growing Empire when he sprinted. And then back to the inside, blue colours, white cap, getting absolutely no luck at all and looked to be bolting was Feroci, who he's going well for Dom Sutton. But, the winner, he looks every bit a Coolmore horse at this stage.
We might try and get our race in two parts, that it's Growing Empire is going to spearhead that contingent going to the Coolmore, and then make of it what you will of those that are heading towards the Guineas.
Yeah, I think there was a few races there yesterday, obviously with that headwind. So you get the horses in front that are copping that headwind and then, tiring as they come around the bend. The ones that are held up behind them, getting the brakes off the wind, but they're getting stuck behind the leaders, and the horses are able to get their momentum up wide that had the cover, then able to peel off. So, there was a few races.
We'll figure odds and bring them right in. $4 out to $4.60 for your favourite Expressiveness, who is best backed in this one, albeit not a huge distance to extra twos, $8 into 7 there. Comrade Rosa has been well backed by a few. A couple of big bets from us here at Sportsbet as well. $10 into 8 there. Expressiveness up the top, 4 out to 4.60 is going to be your favourite in this one. Fortunate Kiss, 21 out to 27.
4 p.m, the 3 is out. Skybird, order of stewards. Finally, they're away and racing. Cast jumped OK from out wide along with Cindy Falls. Extra 2 also began quite well. There's speed from Aviatress down near the inside, and Starlight Scope is hunting up. Expressiveness is up there as well. Starlight Scope will take up the running from Expressiveness, and then comes Road to Arataki. Next is Aviatress back near the running rail, followed by Wollombi, Quintessa and Extra 2 deeper. And then Fortunate Kiss starting to rail up, followed by Comrade Rosa, second half of the field with Life Lessons. And then comes Cast Out 3 wide, Cindy Falls and La Danseuse Rouge. They come up to the corner, 600 to go. Starlight Scope leads. It takes them to the corner by 3/4 Aviatress, and then Expressiveness. Here's Road to Arataki now coming on 3 and 4 wide. In behind them next is Wollombi in the black cap looking for a way clear. Quintessa Extra 2 to the outside from Cast as they straighten. Fortunate Kiss is held up. So Road to Arataki now coming with its run. Moved up. Quintessa's out. Quintessa coming, and then Extra 2 joining in as well. Quintessa goes to Road to Arataki. Extra 2, La Danseuse Rouge late on the scene, but Quintessa's a class above. Quintessa won it by 3/4 in Extra 2 or La Danseuse Rouge in a photo. Aviatress was close up. Road to Arataki, Wollombi. Comrade Rosa, then Cast, followed by Fortunate Kiss.
Oh, she was very, very good. First up for the preparation after at the end of last prep, she ran in the ATC Oaks over the 2,400 metres, returned over the 1,200, first run in Melbourne, and she has been able, Lizzie. She's had 4 goes over the 1,200 metres. She's been able to win 3 into your black book, but Quintessa, an impressive performance and a good...
We make of Quintessa, who... Group 1 winner back in her homeland in the Levin Classic at a mile in January. Went all the way through to contesting an ATC Oaks and an Alistair Clark. And Tiakau, being Tiakau, kick her off at 1,200 metres. She gave them all weight and a beating.
Oh, yeah, there's a few, I think, in the same boat as me yesterday that were maybe a little dismissive of her 1,200 metre form because it was in New Zealand earlier in her career. But she was 2 from 3 prior to, at 1,200 prior to yesterday, and now 3 from 4. How often do you see this, Ollie, with mares racing, with just the best mare, regardless of the distance, winning the race? And I think that was the case with her. She was just the best horse in the race, had the top weight, and she gave him a beating.
Yeah, I think so, but also had the perfect run. It was just in the right exact spot you wanted to be yesterday, just behind the leaders, with a bit of cover, just able to peel off, and was able to capitalise that. And like you said, it...
Run over 1,400 metres at weight for age. The Memsies honour roll includes champions such as Farla, Manicato and Atlantic Jewel.
Welcome back, darling. Atlantic Jewel by 3 eased up.
Often used as a launching pad for the spring ahead. Sunline, Makybe Diva.
The great man Makybe Diva's going to do it, yes!
And So You Think.
So You Think is back.
all won the Memsey before going.
That is right, and this is one very, very good horse. Mr. Brightside trying to defend his crown and go back-to-back in the Memsey. We've spoken relaxed. They've given her 3 trials into this preparation, so she's rock hard fit, and the tactics that are adopted.
And we have a big drift here. Pride of Jenny is out the door, and Mr. Brightside is the popular favourite. Heavily back late, and he's 260 into 245. Jenny was the 210 opening quote, out to $3.10 now. Wow-wee. And
a roller coaster. Pride of Jenny went up favourite with us here at Sportsbet, drifted out, now out to $3.20. They reckon Mr. Brightside is going to turn the tables here. $2.40 has just held that just out to $2.45 in our best back here. So Pride of Jenny late in the market here, just getting a little bit...
Doing battle in the Group 1. Signals there. Gates open and they're away. Antino's missed the start. Slow away by 2 lengths. Pride of Jenny came away quickly and is moving up with Mr. Brightside. Williams just wanted to work her a little bit, but now lets her go. And it's now Pride of Jenny who goes into the first turn from Gentleman Roy, who's now 2 lengths away second. And then Bandersnatch, the outsider, and Mr. Brightside is in 4th. They're 2 lengths on Pinstripe, travelling on the outside of Aegon. And then Vagrant, who's 2 lengths further back, second last. Antino's got it all to do after a sluggish start. They head down the side, and it's Pride of Jenny. Declan Bates only leading by 2 lengths as he heads towards the 800 metres. He's a composed leader towards the corner from Gentleman Roy, and then 2 lengths Mr. Brightside and Bandersnatch back on the fence. Aegon, Pinstriped, about to make a move off the back of Mr. Brightside. And then comes Vagrant. Antino's tacking on and about to make a move around them as well as they come up towards the corner. So this is the game we wanted to see as they come around the 400 metre bend. And now getting animated, Declan Bates takes Pride of Jenny into the straight. Gentleman Roy is moving up stylishly and putting pressure on Mr. Brightside as well. So she needs to find. She doesn't. Mr. Brightside goes to the front. Pinstripe's running the race of his life, joining in. Pinstripe coming up to Mr. Brightside, who leads it by a head, digging in deep. Pinstripe's coming after him. Pinstripe, EJ, you've done it! You're a Group 1 star. Pinstripe won it by a neck on Mr. Brightside, and 3 lengths Gentleman Roy. Antino from the backs come on, and then followed by Pride of Jenny. She's got on the bench. She didn't bring her A game. Vagrant next, Bandersnatch, and Aegon's clocked in last.
Oh, Ben Allen, but more importantly, EJ, your first Group 1 winner with Pinstripe. What a performance. We thought it was going to be a clash between Pride of Jenny and Mr. Brightside, but little did we know that Pinstripe was going to come out of the pack, pour the pressure on, and run over the top of an absolute star in Mr. Brightside. Congratulations to all involved. That was a deserved victory.
His 23rd start. He put the writing on the wall first up in the Lawrence. And today, he's a Group 1 winner, and Ben Allen taking...
Enver Yusufovic, Pinstripe stay at last. Enver Yusufovic is a Group 1 winning trainer with the horse that he's pinned his hopes to for so long, and we've seen this merry group of owners adorned in the ties of Pinstripe silks. They've gone to the races so many times with hopes and dreams. He's been so consistent, second in 2 Lawrences, a Fian winner last year. He's now a Group 1 winner via the 2024 Memsey. And I don't think Mr. Brightside loses any admirers with his first up performance. Gentleman Roy, yet another Group 1 placing. Antino missed the start, gets home well for 4th. Group 1 winning jockey, Ben Allen.
Multiple Group 1 winning jockey, Ben Allen. How does that feel?
Well, I thought he scripted it. The idea was to hold the back of Brightside and just follow it everywhere, and I was going pretty well, so I just...
It's EJ and the DJ in the Memsey. Enver Yusufovic joins us after Pinstripe takes...
Just a lot of relief, you know. A big thank you to a lot of people who found this horse. You know, paid $80,000 for him as a weanling. I can't afford to buy expensive yearlings, so it was the first time I'd purchased a weanling, and...
Yesterday, and Ben, so much of the build-up was around Pride of Jenny v Mr. Brightside, but a bit like the 800 and the 1500 at the Olympics, when you get too concerned in the first 2 in the race, something else can get involved. Maybe we were thinking it was going to be Antino, maybe Gentleman Roy. Instead, it was Pinstripe.
It was, and I think the first talking point of the race was Antino, who does have tactical speed. We've seen that before, but he's developed this habit now of missing the start and missing the to analyse it, you know, in depth relative to the rest of the day. But it seemed pretty typical for her. what wasn't typical is she was under duress quite a fair way out, and there's no abnormalities in the stewards report. So that was interesting. It's going to be fascinating to see what she does. I love this ride from Ben Allen. Stalks Mr. Brightside. He's got the advantage of run under the belt. Whip through to the left hand, and he gets the job done.
Stylishly and putting pressure on Mr. Brightside as well. So she needs to find. She doesn't. Mr. Brightside goes to the front. Pinstripe's running the race of his life, joining in. Pinstripe coming after Mr. Brightside, who leads it by a head, digging in deep. Pinstripe's coming after him. Pinstripe, EJ, you've done it! You're a Group 1 star. Pinstripe won it by a neck on Mr. Brightside.
That he is. Super call from Adam O. EJ joins.
I know he does lay in here, but compare it to what he's done throughout his career, it's about as straight as he's gone. So I think EJ's got him absolutely flying. Mr. Brightside was terrific. Hearing from our analysts, and I'm really well considering Gentleman Roy was as tough as ever. But the big talking point, guys, Ollie Quinney was pride of Jenny. What do we make of that?
Yeah, look, I think it was hard to lead there yesterday. There was quite a strong wind down the side there from the 1,000 to the turn. I think it was only one or two on-pace runners that sort of led. And when you're a horse first up leading into a wind like that, it's not easy to do. Obviously, Pinstripe was second up, and he had the perfect cart. The early thing I wasn't quite... When you're first up and you're into a wind like that, you're never going to get an easy run. Every run is a tough run. So, yeah, you would have liked to see her run a little bit better, but you probably need to see her again.
We've just got to see her again. Ollie's spot on. The jury's out. It's interesting, the market drift. I think that was probably a lot to do with the wind. Ollie was spot on. It was a really tough day to lead, and I don't think there'd been a leader win all day.
And they're away. Another Will jumped second last from the outside stall. Jenny Lala began well with Earlswood and Braden Starr back on the fence. Here to Shock starts to improve quickly. They start to sit up front with Snowman going through, and Bankmore slides right around them of a slackening speed. So Bankmore goes to Snowman, and Here to Shock now merges second, followed by Earlswood on the inside of Jenny Lala. Maracana is next, Braden Starr. Then comes Lavish Empire making ground. Coco Sun, another Will, tries to get going now on the wide line. Sweet Zero shuffled back, and then comes Barclay Square second last. Unusual Culture is last. Up to the corner, 400 to go. Bankmore goes for home from Here to Shock after it, and then comes Jenny Lala, Snowman under the whip, and they'll followed by Maracana in behind. Sweet Zero tries to pick up another Will, still about 6-7 lengths off them, but he's making good ground. Bankmore by 2 lengths on Here to Shock via the 150 metres. Another Will starting to come. Is it going to be too late? Is roaring home. Bankmore clinging on. Another Will's got them. Oh, another Will got there in the final stride. That was a big win. And a bit of arrogance at that as well. Beat Bankmore and Here to Shock, followed by Coco Sun. Sweet Zero. In behind those runners was Jenny Lala. Crowd goes wild. I think a few were on it. And then Barclay toward Maracana. Unusual Cultures clocked in near the back.
Horses and forms come out of this decade. I Am Superman 2020, Ayrton 2021. I Wish I Win beats Gentleman Roy by 4 lengths in the race 2 years ago. And then we see this yesterday from another Will. And Ben, I want full transparency from you, please. Another Will was on the drift, drawing wide, pattern of the day, all those things. You were prepared to chime in. You weren't particularly pleased with what was happening in the early stages. Can you pick up what happened sort of from this point onwards?
I think this was, we described it yesterday as a rude win. He wasn't entitled to win from where he was. There's some good horses he's chasing in Bankmore and Here to Shock. And look, there was a race that was otherwise completely dominated on speed. First two out were second and third home. He's out the back, over racing. There's a big knock on him because he'd had a private jump out. To Ollie's point, I couldn't agree more with Ollie that, you know, average jump out or not, good ground, wet ground. His only defeats were when he started favourite at Doncaster and got beaten less than 2.5 lengths, sitting close to a fast speed on heavy ground. Debut at Werribee, where he was a good thing beaten, and on a valley track where he's wide no cover, which probably was as biased a track as we've ever seen. He's a very good horse. He's way better than benchmark 100 grade, and Toorak just looks his race. I think he's the deserving.
can come through this race. It's the second leg of the Dali Princess Series.
So the favourite here is Manal, 280 on Wednesday when markets were first posted. This race, subject to 18 cents worth of deductions, was 230 this morning when I arrived at the races and is now $2.20. Hasn't budged too much. Amina into 460 late and was as much as $5 only a few minutes ago, so some good late support there. Now, a couple of...
Who do you think wins the Furious Stakes?
I think Manal gets the best run in.
Set here in the Furious Stakes. Gates are back now. They're off and racing. Photographics left well from the wide draw. Two Down Lizzie showing great acceleration. Winning Proposal there, followed by Manal, who sits on the outside, has to go back a little bit with Trafalgar Square improving together with Lazura. Then Zaitung plonked down on the rails. Manal trying to drop in for cover. A length and a half to more territories from Amina. Elmore Zillow and Shishisha is the last one. Two Down Lizzie in front by Nectar Photographics. Winning Proposal right behind them in third. A gap of 2.5 then to Lazura on the inside of Trafalgar Square. Then came Zaitung on the inside of the favourite Manal. Then more territories locked up on the fence. Amina pulling wider out now from Elmore Zillow and Shishisha sees them all. Two Down Lizzie straightens in front from Photographics. Winning Proposal. Then came Lazura. Trafalgar Square. Manal starting to wind up. Zaitung's going back to the inside. Will need a bit of luck. They're right across the track. Manal's coming down the middle of the course and Amina with a big run. Winning Proposal coming off the fence, but it's Manal in the centre. Manal got to the front from Lazura. Zaitung. Amina late. Manal just in front and Manal at the set weights. Manal flipped the result and Amina to win it narrowly. Not sure about third. Zaitung there with Lazura. Then Winning Proposal. Two Down Lizzie and All Zillow flashing home with more territories. Further back, Trafalgar Square, Shishisha and Photographics.
Oh, a Friedman Quinella, but Michael defeats Anthony and Sam in a driving finish. Jason Collett
by Shalab
today, and the class was there. Manal defeating Amina. Follow her though. I think both fillies are terrific. Look at the acceleration down the outside of Amina, chasing Manal, but Manal with that little 3 kilo turnaround in the weights. Michael gets the last laugh over Anthony and Sam, but they...
Look at the Furious. We mentioned this was perhaps in some respects the equivalent of the Atlantic Jewel, and it's Manal turning the tables on Amina after they'd finished first and third respectively in the Silver Shadow, fresh to begin the prep. So Jason Collett in the saddle for Michael Friedman, 4th win of the Tassort filly's career. As mentioned, she was 3rd in the Silver Shadow to Amina. Was also a winner of the English Sires all the way back in April, and also took out the Sweet Embrace and Jim Crack. They certainly look to be the two fillies. They're going to be perhaps flying the flag in the Golden Rose.
And I think the thing that made it the most impressive was the way they both won, because most of the winners up at Randwick today were drawn the inside. We saw the inside gates absolutely dominate the feature sprint race, the Concord. So
And watch out whoever is in front of her.
Oh, it's brilliant for Michael Christian and Siobhan, and for Tim Porter in Tim Porter's colours there with a Collingwood striped cap on top. So today, the Concord into the Everest. And the X factor in the Concord is, of course, Giga Kick. Let's go to M to
footage there from Clayton and James. Okay, the market, unfortunately, Giga Kick, he's been very, very easy. He was $2.90 about 20 minutes ago. You can get as much as $4.40 now. Savage Drift on Giga Kick first up from the break. So the tab traders are really happy to take him on. Bella Nipotina, on the other hand, she's come in from 5 to 4.20 in the last half an hour. Aft Cabin was as much as $11 earlier on in the week, now 5, so good support there. Likewise, very good support for IME, $11 into 5. So they're betting around Giga Kick. Remarks at...
Stand by for action. The gates are back, they're off, and Way to the Stars flew out as usual, and Way to the Stars will lead. Red card sent forward from the outside. IMB positions up well together with Melody going forward. Then Remark, Giga Kick, midfield. Further back to Bella Nipotina. Private Eye losing ground a little bit there with Dragonstone the outside. Further back to Aft Cabin, third last. From Bandy's Boy and Moravia is the last one. Way to the Stars, a narrow leader from Red Card, then La Melody. IME gets a great run right behind them. Bella Nipotina on her back. Then came Remark, got close to heels. Giga Kick up on the outside as they straighten for the run home now. Way to the Stars, a narrow leader. Red Card a length away, stoked up. 2 after YME. Then came Giga Kick, Dragonstone running on the outside of Private Eye. Way to the Stars, still a good leader at the 150, but IME's coming off the fence with a big run, and here's Bella Nipotina, IME, Bella Nipotina, IME a neck on the line to Bella Nipotina, and they broke clear of the rest of the field. Way to the Stars held on for third. Then Giga Kick, Private Eye, Aft Cabin, Bandy's Boy, Moravia. Further back, Red Cardi got tired from Dragonstone, La Melody, and Remarks finished last.
1,000-metre specialist wins I Am Me. 3,000-metre races, 2 wins, defeats the stablemate Bella Nipotina. Kieran Marr trains the Quinella in $1 million race. You just can't stop him.
Concord, so the return of Giga Kick in this race. Ollie, what was the assessment of his performance in amongst the Mark Quinella with IME holding off Bella Nipotina?
I thought he was okay, 3 wide, no cover. I think he is a better horse covered up and allowed to launch late, and he hadn't raced for almost a year, so I spoke to a few of the jockeys in the jockeys room yesterday saying that they looked like he would improve with the run, so pass mark, but great win by I Am Me, and also Bella Nipotina launching late as well, so it was a good race, and also Joe Pride's horse running 4th there was a good return as well.
Way to the Stars in 3rd, and
so easily in the Chelmsford, and another ripping edition coming up. It's a Group 2 event over the 1,600 metres at weight for age conditions. And it is a bit of...
So Zardozi opened 250 earlier on in the week, and we laid her pretty quickly. She bottomed out at about $2.15, and she sort of hovered around that $2.20, $2.30 mark for much of the afternoon. Now $2.20. Hinged, $7 was the best price I saw earlier on in the week. Was about $6.50 this morning. There is good support for Hinged to beat Zardozi. Buckaroo's been a little easy. $6 out to $7 this afternoon. Just Fine. Too much away there. $15. Nonconformist at $19. Military Mission, $23.
Set to go. And they're racing, and Hinge jumped well off the inside. So to the favourite Zardozi. Just Fine showing plenty of muster, and Buckaroo being sent forward together with Poptronic. They're followed behind the speed to Adelaide River, Nonconformist, Military Mission, Francesco Guardi, and Athabascan's been taken back to last. Just Fine revved up, going forward wide out, and it's Just Fine and Buckaroo vying for the early lead, and the import Poptronic races up on the outside of Hinge. 2 further back to Nongan. Just Fine controls the speed of the race now at the 800 metres by a neat length on Buckaroo. 2.5 further back to Poptronic, racing on the outside of Hinged. A length into the favourite. Zardozi given every hope on the outside of Nonconformist. 2 off to Adelaide River from Military Mission, Francesco Guardi, and Athabascan's last of all. Inside the 550, Just Fine still rolling from Buckaroo. Now Hinged is coming away from the rails, giving chase, revved up. Couple further back to Zardozi, has got plenty of work to do as they come up the rise, and Buckaroo now heads off Just Fine with Hinge chasing hard. Zardozi as well. Further back to Nonconformist and Adelaide River getting to the outside, but Buckaroo's going well. Buckaroo at the 150, a length and a half to Hinge. Just Fine. Buckaroo in front of Hinge. It's Buckaroo trying to cling on from Hinge. She'll make one last lunge. Photo finish here. Buckaroo trying to cling on from Hinge. We'll leave it to the judge there. Camera 3rd, Adelaide River, Nonconformist. Zardozi didn't finish off. Then came Athabascan, Francesco Guardi, Just Fine. Then Poptronic and Military.
Dozy disappointing, but maybe the way the track's playing, you've got to be towards the paint. Now, Buckaroo, did he need one more? No, he didn't. He ran really well, but Hinge has put the nose down to make it close, but you sense it is Buckaroo that gets there. Buckaroo will win, Tommy Katie. Buckaroo went forward. I loved his run first up. When he got way out of his ground today, he bounced towards the front.
Yeah,
The Chelmsford at 1,600 metres Group 2 weight for age contest yesterday, the second victory of Tommy Berry's afternoon. It came on Buckaroo, who's able to break through on Australian soil. This was off an 8th of 12 fresh in the Wink Stakes. Last victory had come in a listed affair at Leopardstown in April last year. And Quinella for Team Waller, not surprising, he's had an incredible record in this race. with Hinged running on into second.
And running Buckaroo up the front and being positive, they might have untapped something there, and this horse could go forward if they continue to do that.
7 victories. Launching pad. And it's just going to be brilliant to see this girl back in action. Amelia's Jewel. Simon
make on Amelia's Jewel somewhat here, just given the track pattern. Now, she opened at $2.80 on Wednesday. She bottomed out at about $2.70. Just back to $2.90 now, and they're just happy to let you on there at that price, $2.90. Freedom Rally, the Queenslander, this was as much as $8. $4.80 this morning, got to $4.20, back to $4.40, but certainly good support. Just 10 or 15 minutes. Nuggets at 16, Royal Patronage 16, big odds for the others.
Best back to beat her. The gates clang back now and they're off and racing, and Felix Majestic jumps sharply together with the import Royal Patronage, who's showing great early speed to head off Felix Majestic. Freedom Rally handy, and Fearsome strides forward on the outside of Kintyre. Amelia's Jewel pretty handily positioned early, followed by My Oberon darting up the fence, getting in a neat Kovalika. Then came Old Flame. Back in the field is Nugget from Arctic Glamour, getting across, 1 off. 2 further back to Stockman on the outside of Lock Eagle, and Democracy Manifest sees them all. Fearsome goes on with it at the 800 metres, is really rattling the cage of Felix Majestic. Felix won't hand up the lead though. Felix Majestic ahead on Fearsome, but they've gone along hard. 3 lengths away to Royal Patronage, followed by Freedom Rally, half the outside to Kintyre. Then came My Oberon from Amelia's Jewel. They're in the red cap. Right behind is Nugget from Kovalika, and Old Flame heads the rest as they turn into the straight. Felix Majestic and Fearsome, the 2 speedsters have been at it. Royal Patronage closing in, Kintyre running on. Then Freedom Rally, Amelia's Jewel and Kovalika running home stoutly on the outside. Felix Majestic being tackled by Royal Patronage, and Royal Patronage got to the front. Kicked away there from Felix Majestic. Amelia's Jewel's knuckling down late, but it's too late. Drawing clear here, Royal Patronage. What a great Australian debut. A link to Amelia's Jewel, then Kovalika, followed by Freedom Rally, Kintyre, Felix Majestic. Further back to Arctic Glamour from Nugget, My Oberon, Lock Eagle next from Stockman, Democracy Manifest and Old Flame.
Oh, she's just a marvel, isn't she, Gay Waterhouse and Adrian Bott? Simply a marvel. And Tim Clark did the rest. They won with their Derby winner, Makybe, Group 2 race in the Tramway with a horse that they've purchased horses in training sale overseas. French-bred, US raced, sat there near the speed.
The Tramway, the race that Pericles was able to win second up 52 weeks ago. He, of course, was in Melbourne yesterday. Tim Clark's second victory of the afternoon, combining with Gay Waterhouse and Adrian Bott on Royal Patronage. So the 6-year-old son of Wootton Bassett having its first Australian start, able to break through. Importantly, Amelia's Jewel in second, Kovalika in third, hoping to raise the bar once again this spring.
Felix Majestic being tackled by Royal Patronage, and Royal Patronage got to the front. Kicked away there from Felix Majestic. Amelia's Jewel's knuckling down late, but it's too late. Drawing clear here, Royal Patronage. What a great Australian debut. A link to Amelia's Jewel, then Kovalika.
Nice debut from the Waterhouse Spot Galloper. Nice debut from Amelia's Jewel for Annabelle Neesham and Rob Archibald.
Gelding, he ran good time, and he's expected to get the job done again in the Chautauqua colours. The next couple in the market, A Little Deep and Who Dares, are both on the drift. Savannah Clouds had specking first up from a spell. Good sign that. Adrift.
They stand well, signal, and they're racing. And Arkansas Kid, if anything, took a backward step, but rallies through and got to about 4th. Snapper led early on the outside with Who Dares. Desert Lightning's up there, and also booting up Arkansas Kid. So no real damage done. About 1.25 lengths, Savannah Cloud, Danny St Darcy, and A Little Deep. They run off the back section at the 800 metres, and it's Snapper crossing Who Dares. Arkansas Kid is third, so now the favourites about 4 off the lead. Back behind them, Desert Lightning out deeper around Danny St Darcy the fence, Savannah Cloud the centre, and A Little Deep last at the 600 metres. So it's Snapper the leader, gets a little bit of a breather. 1.5 lengths in front of Who Dares, and then Arkansas Kid just niggling away now. Curry to improve the favourite. Danny St Darcy next from Desert Lightning. Savannah Cloud under pressure. Then came a little deep. They come to the corner at the 250. It's Who Dares with Arkansas Kid giving chase now, and Desert Lightning's right there, the outside. Into the straight at the 150. It's Arkansas Kid, about a half Desert Lightning. A little deep is running on. Arkansas Kid, he's got a race here. A little deep's just about got him, has got him. A little deep wins. A little deep by a length, Arkansas Kid, Desert Lightning, Who Dares. Then came Danny St. Darcy, second last Savannah Cloud, and a long gap to Snapper last.
Well, we expected a good performance from A Little Deep, and it was a good race in the concluding stages. We saw Arkansas Kid not quite find the line as strongly as A Little Deep, but a great ride there from Jamie Carr. Just sat off that speed, Katie, and was able to swoop late, and he was strong in the end.
It was really, really strong late. Having that run under her belt in Mare's company last start over the board, she just keeps on winning. She's very honest, she's consistent. That was her 9th run for a 5th win, and been
yesterday. The Valley also was able to hold its condition throughout the course of the afternoon, so we raced on a good 4 track right throughout the day when we were perhaps anticipating we might have seen an upgrade at some stage. A little deep.
And had the last crack at him. You know, it's still a good run by Arkansas Kid, but he was just left a little bit of a sitting shot late by the winner, who's putting together a pretty good record.
Yeah, she's a talent, A Little Deep, and really one of the she's very consistent.
What a terrific return from Desert Lightning, having its first run since joining Peter Moody and Catherine Coleman. Peter and Dawn Williams retiring from training, and they've now acquired the New Zealander who we saw on the All-Star Mile.
He was very happy yesterday afternoon, Pete, which indicates, I think...
And this is only a small select field, but we have some smart form from Sydney who takes up favouritism here, and it's Silmarillion. She was very good, beating Manal and Amini, and then Supercilious. Good push. Look at this on race day. Supercilious was hanging around the $9 into $8, now $6.50.
From the 1200, and they're racing, and it was a pretty good line too, dropping back to the end. Viola Vivace, Silmarillion's up there in the firing line, with also Sassy Jenny, who's going to roll to the front from Satin Stiletto and Immortal Star. Silmarillion beaten for speed towards that first corner, and also passed on, but booting up underneath of her is Sassy Jenny, then Immortal Star on their heels as they try and put the brakes on at the 600. Supercilious behind them. Silmarillion is 5th, about 3 off the lead from Sakima, and Viola Vivace is 2 lengths away at the end. Immortal Star moves up to Sassy Jenny and Satin Stiletto between them. 400 metres to go, a line of 3. A length and a half, Silmarillion, who works to the outside 4 deep, and then came Sakima weighted with Supercilious, who needs an out too. Sassy Jenny and also Satin Stiletto, Immortal Star, joined by Silmarillion, who lets down the middle of the course now. Silmarillion, hands and heels, goes to the front, kicks about a length and a half clear of Supercilious, and a maiden no longer. Silmarillion, 3/4 of a length, Supercilious, Sakima. Photo 4th, Sassy Jenny, Immortal Star. Then Satin Stiletto, and last Viola Vivace.
Yeah, the maiden status was on borrowed time, and it goes in quite commanding fashion. There's nothing like being at...
Australia's best maidens, given she'd been Group 2 placed at her start prior. We saw that form franked when they were in the yard for the Atlantic Duel yesterday up in Sydney, with Amina and Manal going head-to-head in the Furious, and as mentioned, she was a good...
Spot on, Nigel. Probably the stronger batch of fillies contested a race in Sydney 20 minutes earlier, and as you say, Amina, who was meant to run in this as well, narrowly went down. So on paper, she really was thrown in this, but Ollie, she's a bit...
Pairs back, rounding them up. Stolly Bolly will go and control it, you would imagine. That price. Really good spread of money coming in. Punters getting involved in the Colts and Geldings, and it's the first leg of the quaddie 2, punters, so just remember to get your quaddies on. All right, here we go. Public attention. Well, he's...
Boys' turn, the 3-year-old Colts and Geldings for the Mackenzie Stakes. Once again, and away they go. Epimels towards the inside, away fairly at best. Angel Capital, the last out. Bazasto led early with Public Attention driving up on the inside. Red Sea 3 deep, Extreme Diamond 4 deep. Epimels trying to hold a position next on the inside in 5th place, about 4 off the front. Bazasto 3rd the outside. They were followed by Public Attention, Stolly Bolly, a length Sergeant Major. Epimels back to 2nd last. And Angel Capital around those horses 3 wide. 550 metres to go. It's Red Sea, a neck in front of Extreme Diamond. A length and a quarter, Bazasto about to dart 3 wide. Public Attention next. Stolly Bolly's trying to wind up. Then Sergeant Major. Epimels is stuck on the inside, and Angel Capital will have to run past them all. Around the turn at the 250. Stoked up Red Sea, Extreme Diamond. Bazasto now moves up and claims the front. Here's Angel Capital from last. Has looped them. Bazasto Busto. 100 metres to go. Angel Capital levels up and goes on by. Smart winner. Angel Capital a half as Busto. Sergeant Major third from Stolly Bolly. Public Attention. Then Epimels. Well back Extreme Diamond. And last of all, Red Sea.
Angel Capital might set the table very nicely for Clinton McDonald, with Hayasugi having its sights on the Moya. He looked to have a 1-2 punch at 2. He might have a 1-2 punch at 3. That's quite the return from the Cranbourne maiden winner who went to Queensland. Wasn't a factor, but perhaps...
So these horses look like they're on a Guinea's path, and Matty, we were taken with the third place getter, but I spoke to Anthony Mithen and the Rosemont crew post-race. They were wrapped with what Busto was able to do, jumping prominently, sustaining a minor laceration. Where do we start, Ollie?
Look, it just appeared to be going for a neat run. No one's real fault. Angel Capital was able to just sit out the back, relax and do no work. Got on the three-wide trail and had an uninterrupted run. Looks to have a lovely big action. And I also thought Sergeant Major was really good too, making good ground late. So a couple of nice runs and a couple of forgive runs out of the race as well, I thought.
All right, so if we take off all the silks and you do a Mornington Glory and come out of retirement, which horse would you want to be riding through the spring?
Out of that race, look, I think probably the winner was very good, I thought. Just a little query. He won really well first up last time in, then went to Queensland and probably wasn't
long. Let's rip into the next. Pericles, one of the best back runners on the sports bet books all day. It's one-way traffic. This is his race to win. They dodged the Memsey for this race. They aimed up to try and get...
Runners heading through the tunnel out for the first running of the aforementioned race that now gives some of these gallopers a pathway through to the fee, and that's been moved to the other end of September.
Amy, you name it, it's all about Pericles. So race 8 and number 2 is clearly a market mover. We're playing...
The field locked away for the first ever running of the So You Think Stakes, and Gates crashing away, and Pericles bounced away well with Independent Road. Buffalo River towards the outside is also in the picture. Honey Girl and Pounding Boot up from their low draws. They were followed next by Muramasa Munamek, further back Devoted. Towards the end, Immediacy and also Attrition well back and wide. 1100 to go. Independent Road, Pericles, and there's now Buffalo River, as it likes to do, sools the speed and goes to the front at the 1,000 metres by Buffalo River. 750 metres to go. Loves doing this. He now stretches them 5 lengths. Pericles second, 2 lengths Independent Road. A length and a quarter Pounding Honey Girl. 2.5 Munamek would spot the leader at least 10. Then came Muramasa, Immediacy, Devoted and Attrition. Buffalo River, 500 metres to go. 3.5 to Pericles, who's just starting to chip away now. It's almost 2 lengths. 4 lengths Independent Road, Pounding Honey Girl. Then came Munamek, and well back in the field is Muramasa Immediacy, but Pericles has taken the lead around the turn, and the odds-on favourite at the 150 puts up 4 lengths. Buffalo River boxes on Independent Road, Pounding come on with Muramasa, but it's Pericles, 100 metres to go, 2 or 3 clear, and the favourite wins. Pericles from a real go. Muramasa or Pounding, then Independent Road, Munamek. Further back, Attrition. Next, Immediacy, Devoted, Honey Girl and Buffalo River.
The perfect day at the Valley for James Cummings and his team. They brought 2 horses to the races 52 weeks after winning a tramway in Sydney, second up to start the spring of 2023. Second up, the spring of 2024, wins the first edition of the So You Think Stakes. Marillion in the Atlantic Jewel, and now Pericles taking out the first So You Think Stakes, and Blake just chatting to Charlotte Nassim and saying there would be a touch of sentiment, no doubt.
It was absolutely perfect. Buffalo River was always going to pour it on. Pericles sat in the perfect spot, and it was a dominant win in the end.
And around Group 1 company through the season, no horse in the race brought the profile and CV of Pericles, the placing of the Doncaster, the placing of the Futurity, what he did in the PB Lawrence. He looked to stand out. He just needed to go out and get the business done.
Yeah, look, as you said, he hadn't won for a year, but been racing in higher class, and under the weight structure with the set weights and penalties, with his rating, he did look like the winner there. So, and he was able to look like in the
Field Cup markets, Immediacy was a terrific run. It's run past the Toorak winner in Attrition in the straight. First up from...
Market mover, Pericles. What a beautiful ride on a hot speed. Let's rip into the Moya now. This is a 5 furlong gallop, and we have the Blue Diamond winner, the Golden Slipper Slipper winner. We have I Wish I Win, who's a Group 1 winner, as well as Chain of Lightning, a Group 1 winner. But it's Estriella who is your favourite, looking to get her first Group 1 as she resumes here. She opened up at 2. McDonald looking for a double, $13 into $8.50. Mornington Glory, the $23 went when markets first up.
Of the Kingsford Smith Cup.
Fantastic fresh record, great jump out, race shape to potentially suit, and a track where you can make up ground as well. So there's
He has got that fitness edge against a fair few of these, but they've got that little bit of more proven class in a higher grade. It's definitely an interesting task for him, and I think that he's here in it up to his ears the way that he's...
In Estriella, Kieran Maher winning this race 2 years ago.
She's an excitement machine, and you know, she's only lightly raced. She was terrific last preparation. In
year-old colt to win this race as a Group 1. Got the right pilot. The 8 Lady of Camelot, runner-up in the Blue Diamond, winner of the Golden Slipper, the profile that She Will Reign brought to this race. The conversation around the slipper form to the diamond form hutch, and whether Hayasugi can fly the flag after sweeping through the...
Been presented in such magnificent order. I've landed with I Wish I Win. I love the way that he was getting...
20 now, starting to firm right up. Punters are thinking she's the one to get across, sit on speed and be the one and they have to beat. She's the clear-cut favourite here for the Moya, the Group 1 punters. Who do you like? Plenty of value right down the page, 440 next best. I Wish I Win has his supporters. Lady of Camel.
Little gear issue out wide. They're set and away. Cabalas away fairly. Estriella jumped well with Coleman, Lady of Camelot, and Mornington Glory's burning through on the inside. Mornington Glory led from in between horses, pushing up Lady of Camelot and Estriella 3 deep. 2.5 Coleman, Chain of Lightning, Johnny Rocker. Then came Hayasugi, I Wish I Win, Cabalas last. Through the gap, 650 to go. Contained speed from Mornington Glory. 3/4 of a length, Estriella, Lady of Camelot, keeping in between them. 2 1/4, Johnny Rocker, Coleman, followed by Chain of Lightning, Hayasugi with 5 lengths to pick up, tracked by I Wish I Win and Cabalas. Mornington Glory comes up to the corner, 300 metres to go from Estriella, Lady of Camelot. Johnny Rocker running up behind them, followed by Coleman. Mornington Glory, 150 metres to go from Estriella, trying to wear it down, followed by Coleman running on. Mornington Glory from Estriella, still Mornington Glory, and Mornington Glory won the Moya. Hayasugi second, Photo third, Lady of Camelot prominent, Estriella, I Wish I Win, then Coleman, Johnny Rocker, Chain of Lightning and Cabalas at the back.
These are going to be some scenes. Gavin Bedgegood is a Group 1 winning trainer. Envious-ophobic with the breakthrough last week, and now it's Bedgie who just continues to take on horse after horse and improve them like no one else can. Winner of the Carline, before that winner of a Benchmark 100. It's been a fortnight into a fortnight, and they were prepared, seated by victory in the Moya. Hayasugi makes a withering return. The Blue Diamond winner's got herself a Group 1 placing as a 3-year-old filly. Photos to come in behind. The likes of I Wish I Win putting in pretty good first up runs with other targets in mind. But right here, right...
Best thing ever. I'm so excited. He's just like...
Yeah, it's exactly what it means.
Everything. Just one word, everything, and I love him so much.
Moya Stakes, you're emotional after the Carline. Where are you now?
No, I'm pretty good. I felt a bit of pressure last time, but I was pretty comfortable coming here today. We were the underdog, and he seems to always be that way. But look, he took bad luck out of the equation today. He began really well his last 2 starts, and when he jumped a half in front of him today, there was no instruction to lead. But Brandy just used his initiative and went with the horse, and.
The 1,000-metre track record in the McEwen this day last year. No track records yesterday, but certainly a speedy affair nonetheless. Mornington Glory, as Nick mentioned, has been through the ringer, was an Oakley Plate place getter in February, and Gavin Bedgegood has carefully stepped him through the grades in the last few fortnights to go from a Benchmark 100 to the listed Carline to top-level success here.
Johnny Rocker running up behind them, followed by Coleman. Mornington Glory, 150 metres to go from Estriella, trying to wear it down, followed by Coleman running on. Mornington Glory from Estriella, still Mornington Glory, and Mornington Glory won the Moya. Hayasugi second, Photo third, Lady of Camelot prominent, Estriella, I Wish I Win, then Coleman.
Still pretty fresh, but there's now Group 1 paint next to the name of trainer Gavin Bedgegood, who joins us on the sub 60 seconds. Every second counts, and there's some things early on that you think were pivotal.
Yeah, there was. There was a couple of Sydney horses, obviously, in the race, and when they jump out, they tend to jump to the right because the rail is on their right-hand side in Sydney. And you could see Lady Camelot do it. Also, Chain of Lightning, who had her last start in Sydney as well. Chain of Lightning took care of I Wish I Win a little bit, and Lady of Camelot took care of Johnny Rocker a little bit there, so probably put them a little bit further back.
I think it was a very fulfilling Group 1 because I don't think many of the connections from 1st to 6th would have gone home last night disappointed. Hayasugi, I mean, every time Hayasugi races, you get a better price. I mean, one of the most underestimated horses going around. I mean, I Wish I Win was just a beautiful last 200 metres, but even Estrella was the widest the whole trip, kept boxing on. Lady of Camelot, first look around Moonee Valley. I think they all performed well. Even Coleman. Coleman's done a great job. Johnny Rocker's run out of its skin.
Yeah, all good runs, like you said, Matty, and I don't think anyone would be too disappointed out of that race. But I think the highlights, as you said, were probably Hayasugi and I Wish I Win. They were really finishing full of running.
They've got it right. Like, what this does now, you think for the setup of the Manikato and the Moya providing an obvious thoroughfare to that race, and then wherever they want to head, whether it's Everest Champion Sprints or the other, that's the right structure for the spring, you feel?
Absolutely. And you look at a horse like I Wish I...
On the spot, who do you want in the Manikato?
Oh, gee, I'm going to go Hayasugi.
Yeah, either her or I Wish I Win, given fair barrier draws. I think that would be my picks out of that race.
Disclaimer, we have got I Wish I Win in the Everest, but that doesn't impact the fact I would say I Wish I Win.
Yep. Either way, it's going to be an absolute beauty, the Manikato on.
Hard to beat in this Shirako Stakes as we count down to this Group 2 event for the fillies and the mares over the 12
few days. Now $1.85. The traders just pushed her out one roll to 185 just to see if they can get any interest without being reckless. Sunshine in Paris, 420 best price I saw earlier on in the week was 370 earlier on, came into as short as 3-4.
We're about to release the field. Go the racing down the Shirako, and they jumped as one. Jolly Star actually jumped all right, but being taken back as Belle Claire accelerates. And Belle Claire moved up to take the lead away from Macarena. Mumbai Muse goes to 3rd. Sunshine in Paris into 4th, and now Jolly Star easing back 2 lengths. Followed by Royal Merchant, and Tis Invincible's last off the back of a good speed. Boy, this New Zealand mare can go fast in the lead. Belle Claire, first run in Sydney for Bjorn Baker, and Belle Claire leads by 4 lengths to Macarena, 2 lengths to Mumbai Muse, and 3 to Sunshine in Paris. Jolly Star will be about 10 lengths off the lead, 3rd last from Royal Merchant, and Tis Invincible sees them all. So Rachel King has allowed Belle Claire to scamper along here in the Shirako. Turns the corner, 6 in front of Macarena, 2 lengths to Mumbai Muse. Now Sunshine in Paris and Jolly Star at Coldon. They're still about 6 off the lead. Belle Claire showing the whip. 200 to go. Belle Claire 2 in front. Mumbai Muse closing in. So Sunshine in Paris. Jolly Star's gone 1 pace. Mumbai Muse hits the lead. But Sunshine in Paris moved up and went bang and claims back-to-back Shirakos. Sunshine in Paris edged out Mumbai Muse, and Jolly Star 3rd. Macarena 4th. Then Royal Merchant, Tis Invincible, and Belle Claire certainly made it exciting, but understandably got very tired.
Exciting she did. They just went lickety-split, didn't they? And Jolly Star always looked as if she was in some sort of trouble. She ran okay, but Sunshine in Paris ran better. Lizzie, it's going to be...
They had as well. So a couple of races to look at. The Shirako for the fillies and mares. Sunshine in Paris, 2nd in the Galaxy, 5th in the TJ, 4th in the All-Age. She made her seasonal return in very good style yesterday, giving Tommy Berry his 3rd victory in this race. Mumbai Muse was scratched from Melbourne in preference for this. She was gallant. Jolly Star, what do we make of her run in 3rd?
60 and was about $3.90 when I got to the races this morning. Now out to $4.80. A big drift on Mayfair, and the tab traders are happy to let you on. Lady Shenandoah's basically been $5 all week, just ticked over to $4.80 now. There's been good money, 11 to $8.50, back to 9 now. We've got Iron Hawk at 10, Clear Proof at 11, Media World 11, and Snack Bar Heads the others. Big odds there.
In there, locked and loaded. There's the light, ready to jump. Racing, Imperial Force left okay. Media World is right there together with Mayfair. Lady Shenandoah jumped well. She settles 3rd. Snack Bar going around the field from Imperial Force there, Just Party. And Makybe Diva is now camping right behind the leading division. Midfield there is Iron Hawk as they find their positions. Iron Hawk going in front of Clear Proof. They're followed further back then by Last Command from China Sea. And Ragdoll is last and about fifth last in the run, and the yellow is Henline. So Mayfair now takes control of the race. Mayfair by a length, and Snack Bar got to second. Media World third, followed by Makybe Diva. Then Just Party on the inside of Lady Shenandoah. Length and a half then to Imperial Force on the inside of Iron Hawk. Two further back to Henline on the inside of Clear Proof. Then China Sea, Last Command, and Rag Queen revved up last of all. Coming to the turn, and Mayfair up in journey today. Swings the corner narrowly in front from Snack Bar, Media World, Makybe Diva. Lady Shenandoah gets to the outside. Just Party's in restricted room, so's Imperial Force. Snack Bar moved up to join Mayfair in the lead. Lady Shenandoah's heading top gear. Just Party's getting a gap between them. And then came Media World. It's Snack Bar and Lady Shenandoah. Mayfair the inside. Wide out Lady Shenandoah. Really starting to rip now. And Lady Shenandoah got there by a long neck on the line to Mayfair and Snack Bar third. Just Party fourth, followed by Media World. Then came Henline. A gap to Makybe Diva from Imperial Force. China Sea, Last Command.
Breaks is obviously a target for her. Does she switch to the Princess Series? Does he go through the Golden Rose? But she was so impressive, Caitlin, wasn't she?
Oh, she was, and that's what Adam Hieronymus thinks he has found. The Run to Rose has been a good horses race for a very long time, won by the likes of Animo, Bivouac. We saw Lean Mean Machine.
Stormboy, very popular here, Em. So opened up earlier on in the week at $2.30, was as much as $2.20 when I arrived at the races this morning about 10:30. Now into $1.90, so it takes a good volume of money to firm one, $2.20 to $1.90, and that's been really in the last half an hour or so. Bustling, Lizzie says he's got the same dollars and been very solid all week. Traffic Warden, he's now out to $9 after being about $8 for most of the week. Switzerland 6 out to $9.
And we're ready to go. Racing now. Emirates was last out. Stormboy was second last out of the gates into No Jump Sharp. Switzerland right there into second, and now Stormboy's whizzing forward on the outside of Bustling Fearless there on the rails. Two further back to Warden with plenty of space in front and behind. 2 lengths clear from Tropicus. Then came Emerald, and Linebacker sees them all. Stormboy, he was second last out of the gates. Hieronymus let him run, and he rolls to the front by 2 on the other Coolmore horse, Switzerland. A Node handed up in third, and Bustling fourth, went out one back. Then Fearless, length and a half to Traffic Warden, followed by Emerald, Tropicus, and 2 lengths away to Linebacker. So Stormboy's done his fair share of work in the lead, out by a length and a half to Switzerland. A Node being revved up. Bustling moves up on the outside. Traffic Warden goes with him, and further back to Fearless, looking for the gap. Stormboy at the 300 leads the way narrowly from the stable. Made a Node closing in. Now Traffic Warden's heading top here on the outside. A Node and Stormboy. Traffic Warden's closing in. It's a Node just in front from Traffic Warden. Traffic Warden lunges and got up. Traffic Warden won the Run to the Rose, ahead on the line to a Node. Stormboy third. Linebacker charging home, followed by Emerald. Then came Tropicus from Fearless, Switzerland, and Bustling dropped right out of the end.
So Lizzie Godolphin continue this incredible love affair with this particular race, and you think the broadsiding's going to be there in 2 weeks' time, and Traffic Warden has laid down a huge marker today for the Golden Rose.
He certainly has. This is the fourth year in a row that they've been able to win the Run to the Rose. Animo, In Secret, Cylinder, and now Traffic Warden heads in that honour roll. It was an opportunity on such a promising youngster by Street Boss, of course Animo by Street Boss as well, and the run from Linebacker. Yeah, you go back him very, very safe. Well, we've talked about...
Traffic Warden finds himself in the Everest market after his victory yesterday in the Run to the Rose. James Cummings and Godolphin took out this race last year with Cylinder, who then went to the Golden Rose, was in that blanket finish in the race won by Militarised, and then was pretty gallant running sort of top 5 in an Everest. Do you feel like this guy's got a profile to do similar, Ollie?
I think he'll like a fast pace, which he showed there yesterday, and Stormboy's not helping himself by not mustering early. You know, he's having to work to get to the front instead of being there, not spending anything to get there. And if he gets pressured in front like he did there a little bit yesterday, he's finding he's a bit susceptible.
Could have sat on could have sat on him yesterday. When he was slow away, he asked him to go, why not just be neutral and sit and maybe have another string to his bow rather than just being a front runner? Who knows? He could have done that and just found out yesterday. Yeah. It wasn't a Everest or it wasn't a massive Group 1 race where you had to be forward.
Yeah, good point.
This one. So when markets were first posted, Celestial Legend and Bases Loaded were both put up at $4.40. The first horse we laid was Celestial Legend, but as you can see, he's on the drift today. He's $4.80 out to $6, and Bases Loaded is your favourite, $4.20. Punch Lane's been very solid all week at $6. Now, Boom Talk went up.
So we're ready now for the Toyota Forklifts Theo Mark Stakes. And they're off and racing. Molly Bloom was last out and Tannhauser taken back. Coastwatch jumped sharply with Punch Lane and very wide out. Bases Loaded trying to get into the race early. Diamond Diesel's pretty handy, followed then by New Endeavour. Then came Boom Talk on the inside of Radina. New Energy improves on the rails on the inside of NCAP. Then Celestial Legend. Osipenko, Molly Bloom and Tannhauser's going to settle last of all. Punch Lane takes the lead. Bases Loaded parks up on the outside and they're 2 lengths clear from Diamond Diesel, shutting Coastwatch. Radina back to 5th now, followed by Boom Talk, then New Endeavour and NCAP 3/4 of length away behind them. For the back, Celestial Legend, then New Energy from a wider out Osipenko. Tannhauser and Molly Bloom are the last 2. It's Punch Lane on the inside, really being eyeballed by Bases Loaded into the straight. 2 away to Diamond Diesel. Coastwatch locked up. Then came Radina and NCAP starting to run on well on the outside. 3 further back to Celestial Legend. Bases Loaded takes the lead now at the 200 metres. NCAP is closing in fast on the outside. Then Boom Talk. Bases Loaded and NCAP. NCAP with the revs build up wide out. NCAP takes the lead and wins the Theo Marks. NCAP by neck on the line to Bases Loaded. I think Boom Talk got up on the inside to run 3rd from Radina, Coastwatch and New Energy flashing. Tannhauser running on. Then came Celestial Legend, Osipenko, Diamond Diesel, New Energy.
Lizzie, so NCAP's only won 1 race in his life. It was the Ming Dynasty on this day last year that he won the Ming Dynasty. But he's been a darn good horse. Placed at the Golden.
But Osipenko was good and Punch Lane there as well. So plenty of nice runs going forward.
There certainly was plenty of nice runs. Gary Portelli's in the winner's circle.
Money quote. The weight of money in this market spread pretty evenly. We're not seeing anything jump off the page at the moment. First Settler sitting $12 into $6.50. Beware the unbeaten horse. High Octane 10 into 7s there, and 34 into 15 for Polyglot down the bottom. It was going to be your best backed of those outsiders. But Growing Empire, absolutely no knock on the horse. The punter's just probably
for the Poseidon.
Favourite drawn barrier 3. Gates are back and away. Growing Empire was clean away. Polyglot veered to the right. Didn't interfere with Dublin Down, though, as the jockeys think about where they're going. Polyglot's coming towards the outside with Dublin Down. Growing Empire's coming in this direction as well. Stay Focused tracking it across. And then High Octane, the Chauvinist and Prost. Well back in the field, First Settler and Dola in the pink jacket. And last of all, King of Rousseau. So Growing Empire up with the leaders with Polyglot and High Octane. A length Dublin Down. Next in the field is Prost and Stay Focused. Then came the Chauvinist and Endola towards the back. First Settler tracking it, King of Rousseau, as they reach the 450. So the front runner is High Octane coming down with 300 metres to go with Growing Empire. Zara hasn't moved yet. Then Polyglot, Dublin Down, First Settler, King of Rousseau and the Chauvinist coming on. Growing Empire, 200 metres to go, shown the whip. First Settler's going to give it a race though. Growing Empire extends a length and a half. First Settler had heard it coming and extends about a length and 3/4, and Growing Empire wins. First Settler second, King of Rousseau third from High Octane. Then Polyglot, Dublin Down. Behind those, Endola in company with the Chauvinist, Prost and Stay Focused.
And that says it all. Look at Kieran Maher there, how satisfied he was. He kicked a big box today in these conditions. Yulong's rise continues to rise with not 1 but 1 and 2 there, but we have seen a colt of immense promise here.
No doubting that, Bruce. He's a colt by Zeus. He cost $700,000 at the Easter yearling sales. He might now be the Yulong slot in a $20 million race, the great sprint in the Everest. Kieran Maher and...
Exciting horse, isn't he?
He is. Every win, you know, there's more there, you know, like he sort of has a good look around and he sort of seems to do, you know, each win, you know, there's more in the tank. So very exciting colt, and yeah.
What could he produce? First time up the straight, first time in the wet. We left with his reputation enhanced. But Cuz, Ollie, will get your individual perspectives. What are you seeing in this guy that he seems to have all the attributes of being a high octane sprinter?
He just has all the X factor, the champion qualities. He can go back and still win. He can go forward and still win. He can win on good tracks. He can win on wet tracks. But one thing I liked about him, you look at him early in the race, he had a high knee action because he's got such a big stride, so it looks quite high. But then when Mark Zahra says, let's go, you see him lower. He actually gets down and dirty and then really quickens. And then Mark says, let's cruise again. Then he goes, what did Mark Zahra say? He wouldn't have slowed down to a walk. So that's how much that horse has got under the bonnet.
Is that high knee action and change of gait tipped or seen?
All horses got different actions, you know, but what I did like at him, when First Settler came at him inside the furlong there, that he went again, you know, like he kind of just does what he has to. And you saw last start when Mark sort of just sat up on the way, he just eased off. You know, when he's challenged, he can go again, and that was good quality, I felt.
How immature do we...
So, yeah, and I like a 3-year-old that's got strings to their bow in a race like the Everest. You know, he can race, like Channel said, he can race forward or back. He's not one-dimensional. He can rest early in a race and he can be strong, and they get in with a light weight. So, you know, it's... Yulong have got a slot in it, we know that, so it's there for theirs to take, and they're trying to make a colt here. There's talk that this might become a Group 1 race, so there's the added bonus of that, and they've still got...
Now sitting at $3.40, so the market happy to play around the favourite, a couple of little longer odds that they're looking towards. Point King, most of which $6 into $4.80 is not far off being the best backed in this race, so good money coming for Point King, especially later. Price to watch as we go in, albeit $4.50 out to $4.80 throughout the day.
Here we go. Win and you're in the cup.
Cup up for grabs and away they go. And Horrifying away fairly, dug up to stay interested. Point King, Good Oil, ridden with aggression, and also Dashing Duchess. Hit the road, Jack's trying to slot across as well. As they reach the judge, a lap of Flemington to go. Good Oil is going to blast to the front from Dashing Duchess, Point King. Then Hit the road, just heading towards Chiquita Lodge with approximately 1,250 metres to go. Steady splits from Good Oil, leading out by still a length and a half. Dashing Duchess is second, 2 1/4 Point King. 3/4 of a length Interpretation. Hit the road, Jack. 2 further back is Horrifying as the leader tries to skip away at the 1,000 metres, and they're stringing out. Mostly Cloudy is third last. Berkshire Breeze would spot the speed at least 15, and Post Impressionist is back with it, heading towards the 800 metres, and it's Good Oil. Craig Newitt, who loves riding these front runners, puts the foot down. 2 1/4 Dashing Duchess. They were followed by Point King, who keeps the leader in his sights, and then came around the outside. Hit the road, Jack, presenting up the middle of the track. Interpretation next at the 550 from Mostly Cloudy. They were followed by Horrifying, who's tracking into it, and Berkshire Breeze on its back. They've got to Good Oil. Dashing Duchess, Point King, Hit the road, Jack at the 350. Horrifying's 2 lengths off those, and they were followed by Berkshire Breeze. Interpretation. Point King fending off Hit the road, Jack. 200 metres to go. Point King is brave. Hit the road, Jack still coming. Horrifying and Berkshire Breeze at the 100. Point King a half length in front. Hit the road, Jack peppering away, still coming, but Point King gritty and won. Point King wins and reaches the cup from Hit the road, Jack, Berkshire Breeze and Mostly Cloudy, followed by Horrifying. Next to finish, Post Impressionist, Dashing Duchess, Interpretation, and a gap to Good Oil at the tail of the field.
Well, they won the cup last year, Anthony and Sam. They've got at least another one coming in without a fight, of course, doing the cup stubble. It was a good ride by Jamie, and she had to withstand a very strong challenge all the way up the straight.
Terrific run by Hit the Road, Jack, the hurdler. Berkshire Breeze, well, I don't think many in the speed map had him sitting last. He runs third. Mostly Cloudy running fourth, but it's about those colours, isn't it?
It is.
Lloyd Williams,
won 6 of them, hasn't he?
He's just incredible in finding the right horses.
Is it 6 or 7?
In keeping with how some of our stays are being trained now, and a bit more lightly raced perhaps to the old Bart Cummings 10,000 metre rule of once upon a time. And Quinny, from a a racing fan point of view, it's important that I think we see the navy and white armbands in a Melbourne Cup, and it looks like that's going to be the case after Point King's victory.
And it was a tough victory as well, because looked under siege at multiple times there, hit the road jack, loomed up on the outside, but kicked back tenaciously. And as you said, they're one of the most famous colours in Australian racing, and you do want to see them represented on the first Tuesday in November.
But what about the performance of Hit the Road Jack? So he won the Dean Lester Flemington Cup at 2,800 metres on a not dissimilar day, weather and track-wise. Does his effort coming off a couple of hurdle runs diminish the form?
I was just going to say, it's been given the ticket to a Melbourne Cup, but you beat a jumper home. Do you warrant the ticket to be able to run in the Melbourne Cup after beating a jumper? I love Berkshire Breeze, so I think it's an outstanding horse. That was my pick yesterday, and I think if the track had been good, the roles get reversed.
What do you think of the tactics?
Wrong. The horse, I had the horse down to go forward. I know the stable said yesterday that last time the horse was going, Berkshire Breeze was going too slow in front. Doesn't matter, it's a wet in front. Doesn't matter, it's a wet track, go forward. Because if you come from back and trying to make up ground, you take a lot of carrots out of your basket to be able to try and get there. And I was against them.
If they just let the horse...
Right now, do not come out until this hail stops, because it is terrible conditions right now. But Quintessa up the top of the market's going to be your favourite here. Bad day, good day to be a duck, actually. $4.60 out to $5.50. The favourites drifting, running by $6 into $5.50 there. See You in Heaven has just held rock steady at that price. Cast down the bottom. We've seen some good support and some sharp punters. $21 into 17. It is 19, only into 16 for Lady Jones. But again, punters just saving a little bit of dough for race 8, the big one.
Next for a Queenslander,
Oh, absolutely. I'm a Victorian who was actually born in Hobart, and I'm cold. I'm worried about a Queenslander. How are you, Tone?
Mate, this is run in those conditions. I think we're set. Maybe one left. Here's Matt Hill for the Let's Elope.
Race 7 and away they go, and Legacies from barrier number 1 broke away well from Unusual Culture. Also running by is showing some speed with Grinzinger Bell towards the outside. Next in the field settling down is Wallamby, and also in that group of horses Vibrant Sun, they're 2 lengths Foxy Cleopatra. Then came Quintessa El Safina, cast as well back with See You in Heaven settling down, followed by Vagrant, and then came rumbled again Fortunate Kiss and Lady Jones. Grinzinger Bell took it up. 850 metres to go. Led out quite comfortably by about 1 3/4 lengths, running by, and also Legacies 1 1/4 length. Unusual Culture, Wallamby El Safina. Then came Vibrant Sun, 1 length cast, and then Quintessa right off the front from Foxy Cleopatra. Then came Vagrant, See You in Heaven, rumbled again, and towards the end Fortunate Kiss and Lady Jones. Grinzinger Bell marginally off the rails, led by 2 lengths, running by Legacies, and then Wallamby. Further back Unusual Culture, and then El Safina up the middle with 5 lengths to pick up from Vibrant Sun, Foxy Cleopatra, and then Quintessa with a lot to do. But Grinzinger Bell, 250 metres to go, 4 lengths in front of running by El Safina. Wallamby boxes on with Legacies and See You in Heaven, but Grinzinger Bell 6 lengths in front, 100 metres to go. There's no stopping her. Kept up to her work by Leyden. Grinzinger Bell won it well. See You in Heaven second, third El Safina, then Fortunate Kiss, Lady Jones. Next to finish rumbled again, cast Vibrant Sun, Wallamby running by. Well back in the field then was Quintessa Never Warm, and then came Foxy Cleopatra, Vagrant, and Unusual Culture.
Gee, what a result. Danny O'Brien spoke to you, Richo, what, an hour ago, and talked about a couple of horses and gave this a real push. Absolutely dominated a first-class field.
Yeah, well, John Wheeler, the owner of Russian Camelot, who runs all these horses under the Grinzinger name, will be absolutely thrilled. He's had so many horses with Dan O'Brien. He's got a famous name in racing, but he's...
The hail descended on Flemington in a violent way. Terrific shot here. It almost looked like it had snowed at Flemington. And if you sort of zoom in and see beneath the grandstand there, sort of middle of shot through this fantastic performance. So well done to Brent Zarafa. Grinzinger Bell identified as the obvious leader in the race, and a replica of what she was able to do beating the fillies in the Vanity back in February.
When the Vanity, obviously different track conditions, and even when she did that day we were working, and we were like, whoa. Like, she really put her name up in the stars then, and we were like, she's come back, and Even Danny O'Brien after the race, she said post-race, he was going, we didn't know what she was going to do on a heavy track. We know how slow she's okay, but when it came to this, and to see what she did, how she levelled there yesterday was outstanding. I think there's more to come.
So the stock stake...
More to come.
So the stock stakes goes from 16 back to 1,500 metres now. That was the pathway that Amelia's Jewel, Pride of Jenny and co went on out of this race last year. It looks like it'll be the next target ahead of perhaps a tilt at the Empire Rose.
$1 for the first leg of the quaddie players. Let's have a look at the feature race now. It's a small select field for the Makybe Diva at Group 1 level, and we have a drifting favourite. Via Sistina is out to $2.70 on race day. Why? Because Mr B, he loves a heavy track. Second up, Flemington, mile, tick, tick, tickety, tick. He's a box ticker. He's into $3.30. Hello. Pride of Jenny has her supporters too. She's won on a heavy track, $4.60. In from $5.50, has support on race day.
Got the heir apparent for the weight for age title in Australia. Mr Brightside, the defending champ, is horse one. He's got his good mate victory in this race last year. He meets arguably a better field. After winning last year's Memsey, he comes here with an outstanding effort when runner-up behind behind Pinstriped under his belt.
Yeah, he'll just strip that little bit. Fiddy, map's perfect.
Midsection with natural improvement to come. He's moving really well.
7 is Pride of Jenny, chasing her 4th Group 1 and her 3rd at Flemington's mile course after winning the Empire Rose and the Champions Mile within a week of each other during last year's Spring Carnival.
Yeah, she had the pattern on side there, and I'm not sure she'll get it all her own way today. She will, in terms of there's not another leader in the race. A flat, obviously one that generally improves. She needs to bounce back and bounce back in style, so let's hope we see her somewhere near her best. We know.
In the winks behind Via Sistina, Chris Waller and Damien Lane with previous success in this race at Group 1 level.
She's flown right under the radar, though, Tissue. I mean, she was great.
Sistina, the 3rd of the mares. James McDonald, he could be minutes away from his 99th Group 1 victory. 3 runs in Australia, victory in a Group 1 Ranvet, 2nd to Pride of Jenny in a Group 1 Queen Elizabeth, returned to win the Wink Stakes at 1,400.
Has the right credentials. She's the highly touted horse of the spring, and you'd be expecting her to take a lot of beating today. The market's letting you on. She's got out a little bit.
But my pick for the yard for the Makybe Diva Stakes is Mr B. I'm with him. I think that he looks
Remain firm around that price. Mr B on race day, due to the heavy track and the downgrade, has firmed on race day, so 340, 350. As has
in this race, Richo hit the nail on the head when he said the consistency of Mr Brightside. You know what you're going to get, $3.80 into $3.50. A market mover in a race that doesn't really have any. And Pride of Jenny,
Group 1 sets, and away they go. Pretty good line too. A Tissue, Antino out the back with Circle of Fire. Pride of Jenny broke well with Mr Brightside, but Antino, they weren't really going that hard the first 100 metres, so got booted up to almost match Pride of Jenny in the first 250 metres. Pride of Jenny, as expected, took it up from Antino and also Mr Brightside. 2 lengths Pinstripe Via Sistina. A length and a quarter Warmonger, Circle of Fire, and last a Tissue. At Chiquita Lodge at the 1200, and no surprises here. Pride of Jenny tracks about 4 or 5 lengths in front now from Antino. 2 lengths away Mr Brightside, 3 lengths Pinstripe Via Sistina would spot Pride of Jenny probably about 12 lengths at this stage. A couple of lengths Warmonger, Circle of Fire, and a Tissue. 800 metres to go. It's Pride of Jenny 7 or 8 lengths in front. Second is Antino, a length and a half to Mr Brightside. 2 1/4 Pinstripe Via Sistina. They were followed by Warmonger, Circle of Fire, and a Tissue around the turn. The front runner is Pride of Jenny up the 550, throwing caution to the wind as she loves to do. 6 lengths in front of Antino, Mr Brightside. They were followed by Via Sistina, mud splattered, getting away from the fence from Pinstriped, and then came a Tissue. Pride of Jenny, 300 metres to go, coming back to them, 2.5, 3 lengths. Mr Brightside looking to go back to back, chasing hard. Then Antino, they've split the field at the 150. Pride of Jenny's digging in, 3/4 a half. Mr Brightside wearing her down. Pride of Jenny, Mr Brightside, stride for stride, but Mr Brightside back to back, a neck. Mr Brightside from Pride of Jenny in a great battle. 5 lengths Antino, the eye-catcher Warmonger. Via Sistina couldn't come on. Then came a Tissue, Pinstriped, and Circle of Fire.
Great sport at its best. 2 wonderful horses. They battled it out. He's a miler that we rarely see. He's got one of the great records. Craig Williams wins for the 15th time on the horse and runs down the mighty Pride of Jenny. And Tino good, Warmonger very good, and Via.
I'm giving
The 77th edition of the Makybe Diva Stakes, one of the best yet. And Mr. Brightside becomes the third dual winner of this race, the first since Sailor's Guide in 1956 and 57, but he carves out his own special place in history. He's the first back-to-back winner of this race since it became a mile contest and a Group 1. It's his 7th at the highest level to go alongside 7 Group 1 placings, and Craig Williams draws alongside an icon of modern racing, the now retired Damien Oliver, and wins this race for the 5th time. What a searing contest the 2024 Crown Makybe Diva Stakes was. All set up by Pride of Jenny. Mr. B reels her in. There'll be rematches to come through the spring. Antino runs well, jumping for Blake Shin in a third. Via Sistina is amongst them.
Sensational horse. Ben, JD, Will Hayes, the trainers of this horse have done a great job. Will, who does all these.
Yep. Oh, it was certainly thrilling. What a spectacle. Pride of Jenny was so brave out in front as she is, and our bloke really had to knuckle down to the task, and he's a model of consistency, and we're just thankful to have him.
What's it like for you?
Yeah, she's a super horse. I don't care what anyone says. I've got a great horse, and she got beat, but that's the way it goes. You can't win everything, and you know. Congratulations to Ben and his team with Mr. Brightside. Mr. Brightside's a champion. We've beat him a couple of times, and he's beat us a couple of times, so we're pretty well on even there. So I really think that Brightside is a champion horse, and you know, you just can't go past a horse like that. But you know,
it was good to see. I knew Pride of Jenny was on, Cuz, when she was actually in front pulling. Because you watch her that first up run, she was actually in front off the bridle, and when she's like that, she's not there, but she was really travelling good, Chan, and I just thought it was good to see her back.
Yeah, like you said, she grabbed the bridle early, was travelling really good in front. I think the key, like I said earlier, was Antino being able to sit second and her not being able to tear away too far. Mr. Brightside had someone for him to cart up to Pride of Jenny. And I think we also might have found a nemesis for Via Sistina. The 2 times she's been in Pride of Jenny races where there's been really strong pressure and a really solid pace, she's been found wanting. Her 2 good wins are when the pace has been medium to softer and she's been able to travel up. So Jenny could be Via Sistina's nemesis, I think.
More on that shortly. Let's take in Matt Hill's call of the Makybe Diva.
150, throwing caution to the wind as she loves to do. 6 lengths in front of Antino, Mr. Brightside. They were followed by Via Sistina, mud splattered, getting away from the fence from Pinstriped, and then came a tissue. Pride of Jenny, 300 metres to go, coming back to them, 2.5, 3 lengths. Mr. Brightside looking to go back-to-back, chasing hard. Then Antino, they've split the field at the 150. Pride of Jenny's digging in, 3/4 a half. Mr. Brightside wearing her down. Pride of Jenny, Mr. Brightside, stride for stride, but Mr. Brightside back-to-back, a neck. Mr. Brightside from Pride of Jenny.
Craig Williams, 46th Victorian Group 1, his 5th Makybe Diva Stakes to draw alongside you, Ollie, having won this race on a handful of occasions. I want to start with Willow, because...
There, like Cuz said, I think, especially with Jenny, you don't want to get in a war with her from the top of the straight because it's not going to play to Brightside's strength. And I could see Willow just waiting there, and if he could nab her late, that was going to be his best chance. And like I said earlier, fortunately, he had Antino there to help him cart up to the tearaway leader. And I think that's going to be pivotal in races going forward. Is there going to be that horse that's going to be able to bridge the gap between Pride of Jenny and the rest of the field? If that horse is not there, then it makes the task so much harder for those horses that are sitting a long way off her.
You mentioned that Pride of Jenny could potentially be the kryptonite for Via Sistina. If you were riding Via Sistina on the back of those 2 runs where she has been brought undone by that fast tempo, what would you be doing?
I'm not sure there's a lot you can do. You know, it's going to fall to how the race structures up, you know. If Jenny's got that big lead and there's no one to cart her up, it makes it hard for the rest of the field to do. So it's going to come down to the setup of the races and what horse to be bridging that gap to take the field up to Jenny. So, you know, and all credit to Jenny. She does it all on herself out there in the front. You know, she never has an easy run. You're never going to get an easy run when you get a mile-plus race in with her. So it's, you know, you've got to be time they go out there.
Via Sistina yesterday... Like we all had I interviewed James McDonald yesterday, and I said, "What are you going to do? How do you change the pattern?" And he said, "I can't." he said Via Sistina comes out the barriers and she races that way. He goes, I can't go more forward, I can't chase her because Via Sistina's that's not her manner of racing. She gets back and I've got to sit there. And he goes, I hope that I can pick her up today. So I think it's always going to happen that way.
The little caveat too, and also Via Sistina, she hadn't seen much heavy ground. Was that a little bit of a reason for her not going so well as well?
As Bruce mentioned, 4 for 4 for Sans Doute here at Flemington. Has the punters pretty excited. So when we talk weight of money, really not too much further off the favourite is Sans Doute from Right to Party there. So getting a much better price than the $3.90 at the 5. And in from $6.50 for Sans Doute is well supported to make this 5 from 5 at the track. Stretton Angel, $8. Has just held that price. Remember, almost 20 cents worth of deductions.
At Hill for the Bobby Lewis.
Ready. Gates crash and racing. Stretton Angel anticipated the start, jumped away pretty well. Speed from Griff, Arkansas Kid. Over on the far side, Laws of Indices and the Astrologist staying up the middle at the moment. There's a trio just trying to make up their mind, and as a result, the Astrologist is going to be on its own. So it's the Astrologist virtually about 5 or 6 horses off the inside running rail. The others are headed by Griff from Arkansas Kid, not an option. Stretton Angel, then Buenos Noches, Sans Doute, Laws of Indices, Right to Party and Skybird. The Astrologist all on its own. So with 650 metres to go, it's Griff in front of Arkansas Kid, Stretton Angel, followed by Not an Option, Buenos Noches, 3 or 4 off the pace from Sans Doute, Right to Party, then Skybird, Laws of Indices and the Astrologist over on the far side on its own, still in the hunt here, I fancy, as they reach the 300 metres. Arkansas Kid, Let's Rip, takes the front here. The Astrologist boxes on, followed by Griff, Right to Party and Skybird is coming hard as well at the 150. Arkansas Kid in front, Buenos Noches and Skybird coming out after it. Arkansas Kid just in front, Skybird's coming at it, didn't get there, I fancy. Arkansas Kid from Skybird, and third was Buenos Noches, followed by Griff, Right to Party, the Astrologist, Stretton Angel, Sans Doute, a gap to Not an Option and Laws of Indices.
Gee, Arkansas Kid. Froggy's had a day. Froggy's had a day. Wins one for Hayes. Wins one for Chris Waller. And, of course, the Hayes boys are having some sort of a day. It was close, Richo, but he's hung on Arkansas Kid. It was a thriller. Skybird was flying with Buenos Noches and Right to Party. It was a Bobby Lewis. It was a beauty, wasn't it?
Oh, it certainly was. And what about the courage from the Hayes boys? Went around at a short price favourite last week at Moonee Valley. They back him up.
Right after the aborted first up run when she was scratched at the gates under the steward's order in the Cochrane. What do we make of the winner, but then the compliment in behind?
Yeah, great return by Skybird, as said. Buenos Noches always runs well down the straight. I thought Right to Party a little bit below par, perhaps a heavy track there. Also Sans Doute, maybe it was the heavy track there. And Streets Angel, is it? She was
Stretton Angel.
Stretton Angel. A little disappointing as well, but probably first up, 1,200 down the straight. Can be a little bit of a test on a soft track too. And a little bit of a headwind there as well. So little factors in those horses that were first up, or perhaps the conditions of the track you could be a little bit forgiving of.
Yeah, I was just going to say that horses, there's a number of horses that were below par yesterday you've got to put into the track. Some horses only go on a good or a dead track, and when it gets so slow, they're a little bit up in the air, but then on a heavy, and it was very heavy yesterday. You could see the boys covered when they came back. So don't, if there was a favoured horse that you backed yesterday, forgive it.
Placement of Arkansas.
Horses, there's a number of horses that were below par yesterday you've got to put into the track. Some horses only go on a good or a dead track, and when it gets so slow, they're a little bit up in the air, but then on a heavy, and it was very heavy yesterday. You could see the boys covered when they came back. So don't...